Welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. As things get spun up here, we are going to be playing our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition version of the original Adventures Reincarnated upcoming release of The Dark Tower by Goodman Games. If you happen to be joining us and catching this as I'm speaking, which is unlikely because the warning just went out, Goodman Games is also on stream right now going over their Dungeon Denizens. If you catch this on the YouTube, check back in on that. It's an awesome Kickstarter. Millions of monsters, more like 500, but there are going to be all sorts of stuff. I did get a chance to play through a Dungeon Delve, one of the 2-page adventures that they are putting out along with that Dungeon Denizens add-on. And we've got some more of that coming up later in the week. I did the 5e version, or I played in the 5e version. I think... Are you going to be in the DCC version? Anybody? No? Okay. I'm not sure who's going to be in the DCC version, but that one's coming up soon, so check that one out. And I can see the stream is up and running. Things look reasonable, so we'll keep chugging ahead. Where we left off in our Dark Tower game, the party has once again accrued a pile of loot atop their floating disc. This time it's not quite so massive as the piles of jade scales and gold that they did last time. It's a more modest treasure, but balanced atop it is a diamond of some value, and in some fashion arranged on the floating disc is also a pair of doors. Those doors have bronze faces to them, one a little older and male, one a little younger and female. And I'm sort of envisioning either they're done like horizontal tent style where they're hinged lined up against each other, or maybe they like put straps on it so it's like an A-frame over the thing. I'm not sure. We'll see if that matters. But the party has made their way around a circle with a huge metal ball that rolls within it. Our player for Andry is a little bit delayed, so I think that Andry is probably standing at the entrances to that circle being like, I'm going to go, whoop, maybe next time, whoop, maybe next time, as the ball comes around awfully quick. And he's a big fella. You know, big, strong, tough. He could definitely probably tank one to the face, but why would you? So the rest of the party just made their way into a north-south hallway. They know that heading west in that hallway leads to a set of double doors that opens up to the room of Mighty Sam, collector of belts. To the south, they have not explored yet. They can see that it bends away a little bit to the east. And as this conversation was ongoing between the doors on their tour, sweet whispers coming up from a bag of holding that I think Tann is holding on to, and the general party conversation. They just heard the little like rasp kind of noise as metal on metal is sort of pulled back, and they're like, wow, that sounds a lot like somebody removing the safety from a crossbow. And they look over at the eastern wall there, and one of those cracks is just a little bit wider than the others, you know, just wide enough perhaps for an arrow or a bolt to come through. And that's where we're going to be picking back up, as the party has just heard that little chink kind of noise and looked over, and there's an arrow slit in the wall. Blitz, you're probably the closest one to it. If you can kind of see the little cutout there, that's about where it is, oversized for convenience. Dahrian, I know you've got the sharp eyes and ears, so you might have been the first one to, you know, kind of turn your attention that way. But as all that happens, party, we'll say you've got a 6-second, what are you doing in this moment? You know, diving left, diving right, going, ooh, what would you maybe do? Blitz, we'll start with you because you're the closest. Blitz, what's your immediate reaction?
First thing that comes to mind is he might try to block the slit with his shield, but I don't know if that's something that can be done.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
In game terms, maybe that's the stupidest thing I could possibly do, but it just seems like...
Hey, if you're going to get hit, you might as well get hit in the shield. So you just, like, put your arm up and on there. Tahir, you're probably the next closest. You see Blitz just plonk his shield up against the wall. What are you doing?
I want to see if I can hear anyone else.
Okay, I think maybe that'll give me a perception-y kind of check, if you would. So aside from the dwang of a shield going up, you can hear several noises going on at the moment. You hear a little kind of noise as if someone is, pulling a winch, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's kind of a heavy crossbow loading kind of noise. You can hear a little shuffling going around, and a little like a tink-tink, as somebody must have tapped something against Blitz's shield there. More than 2 people. How many more? Probably can't tell, but definitely enough activity going on there that it's a small crowd at least. Dahrian, as Tahir kind of puts ear out, what might you be doing?
I will be preparing to cast a spell.
Okay. You drop into combat stance, holy symbol and such deployed, and then Tann, what are you up to?
My first instinct is shield, although part of me wants to do something more interesting, but I think I'm gonna go shield.
Shield the spell or shield the equipment?
Spell.
Okay.
I figure if it's a reaction, if he's reacting, then it makes sense. It's a reaction spell, so and
Sure. So you haven't
shield
heard
up.
the twang. You haven't heard the twang of the bolt yet, so I won't make you spend the spell slot yet. But you are ready for defensive maneuvers as possible. That little blip of a second pass. Everybody's kind of in place where they were. And Blitz, you've heard like a tank on your shield there. They're like, I was gonna say put your hands up where I can see them, but I can't see anything. Blitz, the noise is coming from behind your shield.
But if we tell you our hands are up, would you believe us?
Yes, we are very trusting and trustworthy.
Who are you?
We're the orcs, previously of Berkham Shem. Now we're just the orcs.
Oh, they were quite lovely chaps.
Yeah, we saw what you did with them. They're less lovely now.
Just know, they attacked first.
That's sort of what we're paid to do. Not gonna fault you for fighting back, but if you could just move along and stay out of our hallway. We're holed up here. We're keeping the rats out. We got no qualms with you.
What if we told you the rats were more or less dealt with?
That would be quite a load off our mind. Actually, that's those squirming butts are getting in here all the time. Gotta keep kicking them out. It's pretty well defended. Just got this slit here, and well, those doors, they're not getting through those doors.
You say
said
that's
them
what
about
you're
doors?
Say it again.
Sorry, go ahead, Dahrian.
You said you were paid. Paid by whom?
Berkham Shem, the wizard. One of the bodies that you guys had left behind there.
Was
So
that-
your employer is deceased, yet you still serve.
Well, no, we're sort of just holed up here trying not to die, basically. That's why the crossbows, the arrow slit. And the reason we didn't start firing is we're hoping you're the sort that will leave well enough alone and just mosey on by.
Well, if you're just mercenaries looking for some coin and you're no longer getting paid, we're happy to escort you out.
We're okay, we can find our own way out. No reason to trouble about us.
Are you followers of Set?
We're followers of money.
Have you been in the lower tunnels?
Have not. There's worse than us down there, and no interest in mixing it up.
Well, if you do plan on ever leaving anytime soon, there's an exit not too far from here that leads right into the Warrens. Don't go in there. That's where the rats are, as you're well aware. And another one to the south. Oh, if you see a room with a statue of a reptilian fellow, don't go in there. It can set you on fire. Pretty sure your, what's his word? Benefactor told you such.
Yeah, stay out of the temples. We know that one.
How long have you been down here?
I hear a little conversation going on. They drop back down to Orcish. Does anyone happen to speak Orc?
Let's see. Common, Draconic, Elvish, Infernal. Nope.
Not.
Conversation's just a few seconds. Longest one of on our shift's been about 8 months. I've only been here about 4 weeks myself.
Was Berkham a devout follower of Set?
He was, at least as devout as any of them are. They're all a bit scrambly and backstabby.
That makes sense. Now, do you know if he was one who was long-lived down here?
Shem?
Who was continually recycled?
Yeah, he's been hiring for the clan for generations. Good money. Come in, you do some time. Don't agree to anything other than getting paid. Get out. Gonna be a little grumpy around the camp when we come back without much in the way of pay, but you know.
At least you're alive, right?
That's true. Where'd you find that diamond?
I'm gonna move one of the doors over to cover it a bit more.
just turn the disc. I saw it. I mean, it's.
Oh, it was down here. I mean, there's still plenty of undiscovered corners. Half of them will most likely kill you, disintegrate you, blow you up, set you on fire. It's not really a pleasant place. Pleasant place to be.
Nah, crazy statue. Take your belt.
Oh yeah, we've been gifting him a lot of belts.
We've gave him so many belts.
Why?
So many belts.
Why
He needs
not?
a belt.
He needs belts, man. Come on. Just give him your belt. He'll give you a belt back.
Get with it.
Yeah, but he doesn't always give you one that fits.
That's why you go find more belts to give him a belt that could fit you. To give you another
that sounds
belt.
a lot like working for free. I'm not into that.
I mean, we're killing stuff anyway that tries to kill us, so we might as well take the belts with us.
I guess.
It's kind of like a trophy.
Yeah, and sometimes you get
away.
a really cool belt out of it. It's like gambling, but with less of loss. Maybe a belt, but there's enough to recoup your losses.
Gotta say, for followers of Mitra, wasn't expecting the whole gambling pitch, but alright.
I mean, I didn't say that.
No.
It
no.
came from
I
the
like-
talking gem.
I mean, I like a bit of spot of gambling from time to time. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, not gonna lie, me too.
I mean, I'm not great at it, but I know how to say, sure, I'll go again. And that's when they get you.
That's when they get you. Though apparently not Tux, who just went all in and doubled his experience. Congratulations out there, Tux.
Dang.
So yeah, that's So, if you could just go ahead and move along. Nothing to see here.
What
Do you have any way? Sorry, Dahrian, go ahead.
What is your further purpose here?
Getting out.
Doing what?
Getting out. Our purpose at this point is to lay low, keep things fortified until there's an opportune moment to get out of here, which to us would mean you all head down into the depths. I'm sure you'll find plenty of things to distract yourselves, and we'll all head on up out of there. Given the lack of fuss, we might borrow a few things from town, but I can't see as you'd be particularly protective of their possessions.
Well, if that's the case, they are currently on the outskirts of town, if you wish to know, and they've pretty much taken really everything of use. I mean, if you need, like, I don't know, like a backpack, I'm pretty sure there's one laying about somewhere, but there's nothing really too exciting.
Yeah, I tried to go for rations, but they've cleared all those out.
As long as we don't come back empty-handed, we'll grab some furniture, some bed sheets. We'll steal the towels, the robes.
If you go into the manor, careful of the stairs. Sometimes they turn into a slide and fall into a pit.
Huh. Wasn't even thinking of the manor house, but sure.
It's probably best to really avoid it. It's actually kind of, filled with traps.
Oh yeah, and there's
Oh,
dogs. The dogs are upset too.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll still clear from there. Still, we'll come up with something. So, how soon you all heading down?
Are you hiding a secret passage downstairs to the next level?
No.
Are they?
Are they? I feel like an insight check might have been the goal of that conversation.
Being little sneaky Pete's. I believe. I don't know anymore.
You believe?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure there's no stairs back here.
Did you check behind the bookcase?
There's a bookcase, and you're like, dum, 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 dum. There's no bookcase. We just got
Are
a
you
lot of crossbow
sure?
bolts, some crossbows.
We are completionists. We have almost completed this entire level, and then
You
once
don't
we have done
understand.
so, we'll proceed downward.
All right. So what I'm hearing is you're not going away.
I mean, we will. We
We
just
just
we're
want to
curious.
see what the room looks like. That's it. Nothing else.
All right. Well, we don't want to leave here empty-handed, and you want to see what's in this room. How about we make ourselves a deal?
I'm not
Or
giving you the
mercenaries.
diamond.
But it's just sitting there.
It
No, it
doesn't
belongs to the
belong you.
doors.
It belongs to the doors here.
Yes, the doors, and she's gonna hold up one, so hopefully it talks.
And the door's like, put me down. Why
I
am
swear
I
it's not
being...
me talking.
But okay, so I can see you have talking doors. So the doors and the diamond go together.
It's a match set.
So if you were to give us the doors and the diamond,
No. You ever heard of the term finders keepers? The doors have already claimed this as they found it, and then they intend to keep it. They tend to shoot lightning, and this is the only way they would be complacent.
aha.
Here. The orc's exorbitant asking price just to see that room leads me to believe there must be something very valuable hidden within it.
Mm.
So what do you suggest, Blitz?
It's only an observation.
Okay.
Tann has learned his lesson. He's not given any sarcasm. He's tight-lipped.
Just come on, just 5 seconds. That's all we need. Got just 5 seconds.
10 gold a second. I'll give you 50 gold for us to look. And then when we leave, you hightail it on out of here.
50 gold, and we leave now,
And then
and
we
then
look
you
at
can
the
do
room.
your poking about.
Sounds good.
All right.
And I will
I'll help
take a
prepare
little.
some gold.
I'll take a little pouch or whatever, and
Like a little drawer slides out from underneath the arrow slot. You put it in there. They pull it back in. They put the banana in. They slide the banana. No.
Ooh!
And so, what does happen is to the south, a door pops open, and the orcs make their way out. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. That's not the button I want. There's the button.
There's the orc button.
I do have an orc button.
Secret
Ooh.
don't show.
Secret don't show. Sometimes you need notes, okay?
I'm not,
Nope, sometime you need notes. So the orcs come out. They are heavily armed and armored. They each hold heavy crossbows and scimitars, and they sort of make their way out, staying in formation. They take their goal and they sort of eye you up and give you that, like, all right, you stand on this side of the wall, I'll stand on that side of the wall, and they go to edge past you.
be on guard, but let him go.
All right.
Yeah, definitely don't go that way. There's a spitting ball of death.
Yeah, we know. And they like sit there and they're like, and it goes and they start running.
I cast web. No, just kidding.
Rule.
So with a bit of a sprint, the orcs exit. So that leaves you now with 2 potential options. Andry, in the meantime, is like, I'm going on 3. 1, 2. Oh, I would have gotten squished if I went that time. And so, 2 passageways head to the east. One's a little narrower than the other.
Oh.
What are we doing?
Sorry, my dog's trying to sit on the
Just-
keyboard.
Gonna do a quick check at the doors. Everything's still good. That pile, door pile's good.
Door pile's good. Diamond's sitting in there. Door's right there.
Who wants to be the lucky first person?
Oh.
I will go.
It's our man.
I will move forward.
Dahrian stepping forward. This passageway is constructed much like the others, kind of stacked up field stone, beaten down by the ages. The floor is a little bit rough, but as you come around the corner, you can see that there is a doorway to the west there, and a hallway that continues along to the east. Based on the disturbance and kind of the scuff on the floor, you would guess that the orcs just came out of that door to the west.
Move up and peek in.
Quick peek in reveals a small chamber, 4 crude sleeping pallets, 2 along the north and south walls, battered table, 3 chairs occupying the center of the room. Along the west wall, an open-ended casket is stuffed with red fletched crossbow bolts. It looks like most of those were, handfuls of those were taken out to carry with them, but there's still a lot right there. They could have definitely laid down covering fire for quite some time through that little porthole. As you look out, I think you see Blitz looking back in.
I wave.
Right back.
These things happen. Hallway
Anything-
See their
continues.
exorbitant treasure?
No exorbitant treasure there. In
Some,
fact, it looks like everything of value except the crossbow bolts that would have been ungainly to take was carried away with them.
I'll grab some crossbow bolts.
Sure. Pretty red feathers.
Ooh. Save these for later.
Ooh. Pretty red feathers.
Pretty red
I like red
feathers.
feathers. It's the sign of the noble phoenix, or the scarlet macaw,
Caw, caw, caw.
or maybe a flamingo who ate one too many shrimps. Anyways,
All valid.
isn't nature wonderful?
That hungry, hungry flamingo.
As the party makes their way along, the small tunnel bends again south and then again eastward.
Hmm.
As it bends eastward, it leads up to a door.
Mm.
This door is closed. Depicted
Ooh.
as open, but it is closed. The door shows no signs of cave beaver intrusion. It is made of wood. It is fairly sturdy. Looks old, though.
This is the end of my expertise. Blitz.
Would you like me to check the door for traps?
Yes.
That seems like a thing that could be done. I believe a investigation check might help you. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. 16, pretty good. No traps are detected, but the door does appear to have been prevented from accidental opening. So it's got some like little bits of bent metal hooked underneath the bottom of the door, kind of pulled forward and sort of tapped down into the earth. Kind of a reverse Python sort of thing. In order to open the door, you would just have to reach down and grab that little spike of metal and pull it out of the ground, then you'd be able to open it up. But this seems to indicate they would not like this door to open by accident.
Like as if they're trying to keep something in?
Yes.
Mm. Mm.
Well, Blitz will point that out to Dahrian.
Mm. Let us be wary.
Should
But
I
we must move forward. Yeah. Let Tahir and Tann know that it looks like this door was closed and meant to be kept closed, but from this side. So be prepared.
Gotcha.
Did you
Sorry.
pick up anything from the other side of the door? Any sounds, noises, smells, sensations?
I feel like a perception might help with that.
Yeah, I'm not certain that Blitz is the one to pick up smells.
Well, yes, that's why I was talking to you.
Yeah, no, I
As we've discussed, and Blitz has told us, he does not have the capability for normal bodily functions.
right. I will step up and see if I, smell or hear anything or whatever.
You got it. Utilizing your bodily functions. How about a perception check?
That is
You do not hear anything more or less than you would expect in a quiet room. It is not a deathly stillness, but nor is it any sort of noise in there. Like
okay.
you hear echoes as your friends move about, the sort of things that you would expect, no deadening of the noise, but nothing going on that you're aware of.
Would it be immediately obvious, like how strong of a deterrent are these things? Or like, would they prevent a grizzly bear, say, from pushing the door open, or would it only prevent?
So the door
someone weak?
opens away from you, so this would befuddle a grizzly bear. You're not sure that the wooden door itself would hold up to a grizzly bear, but it would certainly prevent a velociraptor from using the handle.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll follow your lead on this one.
All right. Undo what's been done, and then
Ook.
I will open the door.
You got it. As you open the door, you only get it to open about halfway before it bumps into something inside the room. In one moment as we do some revealing.
I think the door has hit the dead body of the thing that's been in here way too long that they trapped.
Perhaps it's one of those riddle rooms where, like, the lion has been fed in weeks.
So, a body, yes. Dead, maybe. Stone, more likely. Standing, also. So, a statue of an orc stands on either side of the doorway, and you sort of banged into the elbow of the one. The other's just right there. There's a pair of orcs at each of the entrances, exits to the room. Two flanking the door that you just opened, two flanking a door across the way on the eastern wall, and two flanking a short hallway that probably leads to a door, though you can't quite see the door from the angle you're at, to the north.
All orcs?
All orcs, all armed. They look to be of the same clan or lineage as the ones that just recently departed. The armor, the emblems look very similar.
Do they look fearful?
Do they look fearful?
Yeah, like caught in the.
Oh no, they do not have the classic. There's a Medusa pose. They're just like standing there being guards.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would this bear any striking resemblances to the elven statues upstairs in similar gestures or attire or mannerisms, I guess?
The elven ones upstairs you would definitely identify as haughty. These are more disinterested and on guard. Like
it's more stoic looking.
Yeah,
kind
a
of
little
just
more
like
stoic.
at the ready.
Yeah, they might have taken an arrow in the knee at some point and just be kind of standing around collecting their copper. You know how it is.
Them crazy arrows.
Crazy arrows.
All right. I'm gonna. This is me talking to everybody. I'm gonna quickly go through the door, and I'm gonna go to. And I point to this area.
Okay.
And everybody just kind of file in and fan out.
I'll take the northwest.
Okay.
And
B,
the northeast.
Sure. So go ahead and position yourselves as you might be aiming to be. And as you do so you file in, you fan out. Let's go for what skills might you be deploying as you're like on the move, getting there, ready to settle in? What's the thing that everybody's trying to do in that first couple of seconds as you're just like bursting in?
Blitz might use his knowledge of stonework to look for any inconsistencies or strange things, anything that jumps out from the statues that would lead him to believe that they're more than just statues. Or
Sure, I think that's probably going to be on the investigation side, so go ahead and throw me an investigation there. So checking out the statues as you're making your move. What's everybody else up to?
Seeing a lot of statues, or what previously were statues that were down here, seem to have a habit of animating and attacking.
Mhm.
Any signs of arcane glyphs, symbols, or anything to recognize these as stone golems anyway?
Sure.
Or gargoyles, or nonsense like that.
That'll be on the Arcana side, so go ahead and throw me an Arcana. That's pretty good. Dahrian and Tann, what might we be doing as we're coming in the door?
And doesn't have any particularly special skills of observation. So I think he would just be kind of generally glancing around, just like a normal like perception, just kind of glancing.
Sure, go ahead and give me a perception. 13 is a number. You are looking around. And that'll bring us to Dahrian. Dahrian.
What do I have here? I suppose I would be trying to see what had befallen, maybe a little bit of insight, seeing the placement of these statues and the way that they're standing and everything. Attempt to glean what happened and how they all.
Ooh, sure. That seems like an insight.
Thinking that these might be people that had been maybe turned to stone or something like that, or the placement of these statues. What would be the purpose of them being there, or does it seem more random, like it would be people that were milling about that were affected by some spell or something?
Sure.
Okay.
It's a pretty good insight. So let's start working our way through these. Tahir, you are up at the 23, so we will say, as you glance around, no arcane symbols, nothing of that sort on the statuary. It doesn't look like they are designed in that fashion. They are hyper-realistic, too realistic Blitz comments to be anything carved or manufactured through mundane means. It's just too good. The hairs are too well defined, and you can see where several of the hairs must have been too thin to hold up to the passage of time and have broken off. Things like that. So some of that dust that's about is, too fine set. Dahrian, your insight says, okay, so if they're too good and they were probably people at one point, that's not a natural way for a person to stand while being turned to stone. Like, they would have had to be standing in a balanced, flat-footed sort of manner, and they're not entirely uniform. They're differences, they're different people, but it's not normal that they would be standing in that fashion. And Tann, you're like, yeah, that's really weird. And you're like, oh wait, and you realize it's just a second too late, as one of the statues, some of the featherwork on that statue moves and takes flight and does manage to get off the surprise. A cockatrice launches itself from the shoulder of the statue to the north near Blitz. It will get off and attack, and then we will be dropping into combat. Blitz, you have a bite coming in at you. Thankfully, I think a 12 will miss.
Mm-hmm.
And so, let's go ahead and bring up the turn order. And let's get that cleared out. And let's ask everybody to go ahead and click their tokens, roll themselves in, as a cockatrice is engaging with the party.
This might be old Stone Teeth's nemesis.
Might be.
Yep.
Oh.
Right. Yep.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really unfortunate.
So unfortunate.
I would really hate that. I can't figure out how Tann would talk.
You go ahead and get vengeance for me there.
Yeah,
To
man.
hear, as you
Yeah,
call
man.
out that this may be
Yeah.
a vengeance maneuver, what are you doing?
Boy, I'm going first, but I don't want to go first. Alright, let's see what the wizard has in his spell book. I know, we're not going to use any of it. Let's just shoot a crossbow bolt. That sounds fun. Bam!
Boing.
12.
A 12 will hit a cockatrice.
Ooh!
Wowzers.
That. Oh boy, come on, buddy. And that. Come on, the lowest damage possible. 5.
Anything else to hear?
I got a firebolt. I got a firebolt.
26
Ooh.
hits.
There we go. That's a little better.
Ooh,
Nice.
12 damages.
And
Tahir.
I got some movement. I don't want to be near the fucking thing. Do. Protect me, Dahrian.
Why? And now that you've got a little further into the room, you can see that there is a door to the north and a door to the east. Both of those are closed. But Blitz, you have feathers and fangs and fury in your face. And what are you doing?
Let's carve this turkey. Let's see here. Bring.
You respond to Fang with Fang and do 21 points of damage. Just bonk, you knock the chicken straight out of the sky and bamf onto the ground. It is out.
Oh,
Nice.
Well
Alright.
struck.
you pick it up and keep it. I'm gonna take it to Stone Teeth and see if we've brought his
Hmm.
villain to justice.
Should we like blind the eyes or something, or how does cockatrice petrification work?
That's an excellent question.
That is an excellent question. Does anyone know? Maybe a nature check?
Who has nature?
Mm-hmm.
Not
I-
trained in it.
I'm not trained, but smart.
Tann is not.
What do you think,
I've only
Dahrian?
heard of these things. I have heard that they taste bad, but if your teeth have been turned to stone by a cockatrice, if you eat one, it will turn them back. I've heard.
Oh.
I think he would very much appreciate that. I believe you wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
You have never led me astray once.
Yes.
All
I
right.
think I read that somewhere.
So Blitz, you're holding the cockatrice.
Yeah.
So
I figure he'll tuck it in his
cockatrice.
belt or something, hanging by its neck.
Just, yep, you got it. Book. It's just like a rubber chicken. And so you have the run of the room for the moment. A couple of other details come to light as you're now standing in there. On the eastern door, near the foot of one of the statues, there's a small urn, a little pot, about yay high. On the northern door, it is closed, but that one shows signs of some damage. There's some splinters at around the door handle level that have been poked through, as though it had been hit or stabbed from the backside. And what's she all doing?
Which one?
Little urn is bronze. Sorry. Ding ding. Metal.
Oh, that's the bronze urn right here.
Yep, that's the little bronze urn by the foot of the statue near the eastern door.
Hmm.
I think Tann. You said all the doors are closed besides the one we came in from, right?
Correct.
I think Tann might take a listen to see if there's any other things on the other side of the northern door.
Sure, I think a perception check might help with that.
Or. Yeah, 9.
9. 9, you say?
Yeah, with full confidence.
there is something.
Oh.
But you're having a lot of trouble figuring out what it might be. Like, you heard like a clack a clatter, but at the same time you heard like a kind of noise, and then there was a little bit of a, and you're like, it's crab people dancing in pudding while using castanets and maracas. It's a crab people salsa festival going on.
That does 100% sound like something Tann would think of.
It's so it's not a lobster, is what you're saying.
Right.
Specifically crab. What type of crab are we talking?
I'm thinking blue claw.
Oh my.
Yeah.
It's weirdly specific.
Yeah. Blue claws have like an impressive larger claw, but because it only sounds like it's coming from one. So perhaps the smaller claw is the one being used for the maracas,
Mm-hmm.
because the one would produce a more impressive sound. That's what I think. Dahrian, can you confirm or deny this? That's really hard.
It took me a second to get it.
It's like when what was it, patting your head and rubbing your stomach?
I already fucked it up.
Yeah. Play the maraca and clack the clackers.
I will.
Castanets.
I will attempt to see if I can deny that that's what I hear.
Sure.
I'm
Why do you
guessing
go straight to deny?
because I'm not certain I could confirm that. I just don't know if that's possible.
You got it. So you press your head up to the door. Let's see what you might hear. A little perception-y check, please.
Huh?
I mean,
You could
all
be
the
right.
sounds are there as described.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's a good assessment. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's actually a pretty good description.
See?
Hey,
I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Shawardaborp?
War
Thank
the
you for the
board.
subscription.
Schwarpadorp?
Mm.
Shubadorp?
Schwarpadorp.
Schwarbadorp. Shorvadorp.
It's a good name. It's a good name to inflict on people who are streaming. I appreciate that. But thanks for the subscription.
Hey Blitz, what do you think this urn is?
Yeah, I believe it is a receptacle for a dead creature of some sort that has been disintegrated.
Well, that'd be a very poor chap if you ask me. Anything weird that looks on the urn itself? You just said it looks a little haggard? Or was it the door?
Oh no, the door to the north looks like it had a couple of hits from the far side, some sort of splinters sort of leaning out from it. But the little bronze urn looks pretty good. It's a little bronze urn. It's got a little lid on top of it. It could definitely hold ashes or spices or just about anything you want to put in an urn.
Incense. Might be a bunch of incense in there.
Could be.
Should I pick it up and shake it?
I don't know. I'm not seeing any noticeable arcane trickery on it just yet. So it could just be an urn.
No arcane trickery of note.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Between us?
Yeah. Do you want to do it or shall I do it?
I will be rock.
No, you gotta. Oh, alright. Forgot. First adventure. So, the way this game works, and then he tells how the game works.
Rock,
And
paper,
so then-
scissors explained. Got it?
So, and then not on 3, on go, not on shoot. We don't use shoot. It's on go.
Okay.
Given those choices, I choose rock. All right, there you go. It's so funny.
All right, you ready?
I think so.
1, 2, 3, go. Paper.
Oh,
Damn,
scissors. Nice.
he got me.
Well played. And so,
We did not discuss how this works. Who?
What does this mean?
So I guess you tell me what to do.
Oh. I suggest rock next time.
I talk about the urn, Blitz.
Oh. Oh, perhaps open it and see what's inside, and tell me. 'Cause I'm
As per
curious.
the sacred art of rock, paper, scissors, I will do as Blitz commands.
okay. And so you grab the lid, you're like, shik! And as you shriek, it goes zing! It makes a little nice ringing bronze sound. And, Andry has joined us. We will sort out the overlay in just 1 second. So, Andry, you will be catching up to the party. They've made their way a little bit ahead. As you jog down the last stretch of east-west hallway, you come into the room to see that Blitz has a cockatrice hanging off his belt, recently dead, Blitz and Tahir are studying a small bronze urn, the lid of which has just been released. Tahir leans over and looks in, and ooh, gold.
And I just boop.
And as you boop, gold coin, gold coin, gold coin, asp! And a snake tries to bite you on the finger.
Ah, sneaky snake.
Sneaky snake indeed. And 1 moment, please, as we take care of some little thingies here. First thing we're going to do is just roll a quick schnibble as a poisonous snake. Bite attack! Oh! Crit
Oh.
save!
Come on.
Oh.
Could I have a DC 10 Constitution saving throw as I sort out the overlay?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Hold up a second. Hold up.
I would like to use my reaction to place a runic shield around my friend Tahir.
Oh. How close do you have to be to make that happen?
I believe 30 feet.
Oh.
60 feet.
Within 60 feet.
Just in time. When you see with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to force the attacker to re-roll the d20. I hate you so much. But we will re-roll the d20 and come back here. Good news, bad news is chomp. Still a 24.
It's a lot less damage, though.
Yeah.
DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
I think I already
so
rolled
half
one.
of that. So 1 and 2 is 3. So 3 points of damage. At that point, the snake hits the floor, and really, this snake has no prayer against you all. So we're just gonna remove that from the board there. As I'm
Great-
sure many
Big
things.
Dahrian's pancakes. What was that?
But inside that urn, you do find 300 gold pieces.
Wow. Hey there, Andry. Just in time.
That's what I do.
I mean, it was a sizable urn. I might have been underestimating it this big. It might have been more like this.
Yeah, for 300 gold pieces.
For 300 gold pieces, it's very thin-walled urn. Very thin.
Larger on the inside than on the outside?
Yeah.
Well,
But,
that would be nice.
An urn of holding.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the party's already got a bag of holding. We're not just giving these away. But
We don't have an urn of holding, though.
We also no longer have a bag of holding because that bag is strictly off limits.
It's got the spirit of chaos inside it.
It's a secret.
how do you feel about blueberry muffins? And so,
Ooh.
we've got a door to the north, a door to the east, a urn's worth of gold that's been poured out and recollected, and Andry has joined us. What are we doing from here?
Wait, where are the blueberry muffins? I could eat.
Oh no.
Muffin.
Don't listen to the gem. He's trying to seduce you with baked goods. What's so funny about that?
That sounds like a very kind thing to do, though.
Yeah.
It would work on me.
I know. I almost reached it myself, but I have such restraint.
He has such the mental fortitude to be carrying such a heavy burden.
That's right. I'm sure his eyes crossed at some point during that conversation.
Andry, what are your opinions on blue crabs,
Blue claw crabs.
specifically?
Yes.
Are we eating them? Because I'm kind of hungry.
Ooh, perhaps if we open the north door, we can have a nice, crab banquet and bring that back up to the people in the manor.
True. We believe we've heard some sort of crustacean on the other side of this door dancing, is Tann's assessment.
Yeah. A blue claw crab doing the salsa.
Oh, salsa sounds so good right now.
With
I would have
nachos
never
and
considered
pasta.
crab with salsa, but I think it could work. Like, shoot, now I gotta ask Ike what that dish is
Is that
that
cheddar
his dad likes to
biscuits?
get.
Sounds
Oh,
it smells so wonderful.
Blue crab and cheddar biscuits.
We go to the Blue Lobster. Dahrian, I have a franchise idea.
We'll have the money to open them.
You
But
do have
first,
starting
Get
capital.
out of here.
But first, we need to get us a blue crab.
I don't even eat, but I'll admit that sounds delicious.
So the
I would say
party's-
north door first. And I will see if the door is locked.
the door is not locked, but it is
All
shut.
right. Andry, do you want to go first?
Wait. Oh, I thought you were going first. I was going to follow you in.
Ooh, I can. All
Would
right.
you like me to go first?
I will open.
Oh, I want Dahrian to go first.
Oh,
I will open the door and move through 10 feet.
You open the door, and as you open the door, you see some things.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
This
That's the-
rectangular chamber smells of rotting organic waste. The floor is covered with a mess of bleached bones and stony rubble, as well as scattered piles of refuse, some several feet high. The refuse in the northeastern corner shudders, revealing a 10-foot-long scorpion with a black carapace. The scorpion snaps its claws eagerly, arcing its tail as it picks its way through the debris. And as it does so, you hear the squelching noise of its little feetsies in the rotting stuff. You hear the clackada-clackada that you heard, and its carapace lets off the maraca-like sound. You just connected the dots a little oddly. And
Mhm.
that's the
so,
weirdest blue crab I've ever seen.
it really is.
Must be mutation.
I thought we were having some ceviche tonight, but apparently not. We're having land lobster.
Ooh.
land lobster indeed. Would everybody be so kind as to roll their initiatives and bring that into the turn order? Oh, land lobster did not having a good day. And so,
Man, now ceviche sounds good.
Just gotta get some limes.
Oh.
And so, Andry, Dahrian, you can go ahead and make your planned move 10 feet forward if you would like. That was part of your throwing the door open action, but Andry will get to go first in battle. Andry, what are you doing?
I was moving in that direction was my plan.
Oh, he's an animal. I thought he was going to go chase the. Okay, I'll move up to the scorpion,
Uh-huh.
and I will I will use Giant's Might.
Okie dokie. Wood.
I get larger, and then I am going to punch this thing because it's not a fiend, and I'm not sure it's evil, but we're going to tune it just in case.
$20 will hit.
And then I would like to grapple this monstrosity.
Ooh. It'll post up a 21 for you to beat on the rolls. And I think you owe me a d4 more damage at least. Right? Don't you get an extra d4 on growing big?
It's D6,
Whoa.
right?
You have grappled it.
It is a D6.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't realize I crit, so I get 2d6.
No. 20 was the
Oh,
unarmed
that's
strike. Yeah.
That's okay, right.
You got it.
And then, just for good measure,
Mhm.
I'll punch it again. Maybe a boot. Boot right to the face.
Boot to the face. Boot to the face. Boot to the face.
And I think I only get the unarmed strike once, or the extra damage once as.
Okie dokie. Andry, you have grappled, you have booted, you have punched. Blitz, what are you doing? Andry, please check your positioning and let me know if that's the right spot.
I'll move over so that if my crew decides that they want to get up close and personal, they can.
Apparently Blitz does.
he'll glance over to Andrei to see if he gives him any signal like he wanted to take this thing on mano a mano or not. and barring any, this is mine kind of body language, he'll just strike.
You got it.
I'm
Oh,
willing
yeah,
to
you do.
share.
Two solid hits. It is still a beastie, though.
Oh. Yeah, that's good.
All right, Dahrian, what do we got? Ooh, Dahrian closing in. Everybody wants to be the first one to crack the lobster.
Move up and then hit it with my flail.
A 15 will hit it with your flail. Yes, please.
For 7.
7 points of damage there. It is divinely struck. Anything else?
That should be it.
You got it. Tann.
Good lobster dish is always baked, so he's gonna do a firebolt. Pew!
Firebolt lands.
Yay! Wha-cha!
11 is damage.
Nice.
It is still a giant scorpion, though.
Oh dear.
Though it is not much of one left. Tahir, quick check dexterity. What might your modifier be? Better or worse than a +1?
+3.
You get to go first then. Tahir.
Ooh, baked lobster sounds really good. Especially baked land lobster. I will follow up as well. Bam!
Oh, I don't know that it's going to survive this. Let's see.
Oh,
26
good one.
points of damage. You do indeed have baked land lobster.
Nice.
And after that, Tann, you just hear like, I got cheddar biscuits.
No, I will not be tempted. My mind is a fortress.
And so, the lobster falls. Giant scorpion falls. And as such, what might we be doing now? Room is full of all sorts of squishy stuff and bones and giant land lobster body.
Well,
Search
Andry,
around.
since you're still big, you want me to check this other door just in case something bad comes out?
Sure.
I'm opening the other door. If I die, it's my fault.
That was good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay, open the door.
I'll protect you from over here.
On it.
You open
Cool.
the door. The walls of this 15 square foot room are draped with black curtains. Opposite the door sits a stone pedestal atop which rests a skeletal form clad in ancient plate armor. The skeleton clutches a greatsword in its bony fingers. The greatsword is sheathed in black leather with gold-studded rivets. The sides of the pedestal bear engraved pictograms.
Ooh.
Well, this poor chap had a very bad time. That's a fancy sword he has there, though.
Where to here? Black curtains might mean chaos.
It sure seems like it for this room. I'm going to avoid the corpse for now. And I'm going to step in and just have a look at the imagery that's being shown on the pedestal.
Sure. Let's call this one a history to get you started.
There's one thing he knows. It's how to read, because he's a nerd.
He's a nerd.
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 Hey, it's a form of art, man.
It is a form of art.
Fine.
Carved into the sides of this pedestal are the history, achievements, several war chants, prayers, and a genealogy of what looks to be a paladin, a holy warrior.
Oh.
Did it look like the same imagery and iconography I'm seeing based on the current corpse in the chamber?
You compare
looks-
the corpse on the chamber, not so much the corpse as the armor that it's wearing, the heraldry imagery on the armor to the that of the engraving on the pedestal, and you would say, yeah, that is likely the same person. This is likely the body of, you read, Rakox. Rakox. Racox. We'll go with Rakox.
Ricard.
If this is one of Mitra's lions, you may be able to summon him by speaking his name.
Possibly, but I don't believe the colors of mainly black are that's to be depicted with a Lion of Mitra, unless it's more one of those edgelord paladins. Dreadlords? But like the good kind. What's that term?
A good. I don't know.
Wouldn't that just be a paladin?
Good
Yeah.
lord.
Probably right.
Is anything of value in the room that me and Dahrian are in?
Oh, the room that you and Dahrian are in. I feel like maybe a perception or investigation would help you along in that way. An 18. And a 1.
Yeah.
Dahrian, you have to open your eyes if you're going to look.
I'm pretty sure
Oh.
the problem was Dahrian did open the eyes and then you threw sludge in them. But as you're working your way through, you do turn up a small ceramic pot and little shuka. You check it out. It's got some coinage in there, roughly 75 gold pieces worth. But this is after 5 or 10 minutes of digging down there. Probably just enough time for Tahir to have fully translated all of the inscriptions that he saw there. Tahir, while you don't see an alignment or a god being called out, yeah, you are getting a little bit of a feel that, maybe not a Mitra fella. Certainly noble, honorable, accomplished, but maybe not Mitra.
But why would he be down here? Hey, Dahrian. Hey, Blitz. Anyone knows religion as much as I do? I need a brainstorming session.
What do you want to
Yes.
know?
We all know how there's like Lions of Mitra, right?
Yes.
However, and there seems to be kind of parallels they share with each other. There's the lovely biscuit creating device that's currently in the bag, and the hearts of Mitra. What if there's like the jackals of Set, an ancient order of Set followers, or they're probably already down here, aren't they?
Likely.
They're all alive. Never mind. What am I saying?
Mm.
Some of them could be dead.
Perhaps this
Killed a
fellow was
few.
one of them, but wasn't good enough.
So
Didn't make the cut.
as you're sort of spelling that one out, like the jackals of Set, one of you is like, "Oh, yeah, we did hear a term for that. The sons of Set.
Sons of Set,
Mhm.
yes.
Though not all male, but referred to as the sons of Set."
Perhaps this fellow was like for the sons of Set, the hidden ones of Set, something like that. Maybe that's this guy. I have no idea. I can only get so much for someone drawing stick lines on a pedestal, but it's very beautiful looking.
I say, Ring, are you with me?
Yes.
Where else would it be?
I
On
wanted
your
to,
hand.
I wanted to wake it up.
Does it sleep?
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to know that I'm talking to it and not somebody
I
else.
try to go to sleep at night, and my sword is constantly talking to me. It keeps telling me, you gotta be good. You gotta listen to the law. You gotta follow the law. And I just wanted to shut the hell up.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
fought the
horrible.
law.
But the law's winning.
Yeah, usually my ring does not respond or doesn't speak to me unless I speak to it first.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
Can you do that, sword? Just shut the hell up.
Be better.
Wait, what? How much better can I be? And Andre's gonna break off a piece of this scorpion and start eating it. Because it's been charred, so it's cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a
And
little
I'm
zing to it.
also, you said that it's 10 minutes, so I'm not large anymore.
But I let the ring know that we've run across something, and I know that you offer me protection from things evil. So I would guess you could sense things being evil. I am going to step into this room, and I would like you to tell me if you sense any evilness about, other than what you currently feel or sense.
Oh, Blitz, I think you might be about to be outed.
Oh.
And I want to just move, just not even like a whole square in. I'll just move myself in, but I just kind of want to go into the room and see if it can sense if this is a bad guy or a good guy, I guess, or if this is a consecrated or a desecrated holy area.
But he's a dead guy.
Well, but the like if I did this in a temple of Set, I guess if it had this ability, I'm just asking it if it can do it. But if I did it in a temple of Set, that would be a temple that would be consecrated to an evil deity, so it would radiate evil. So.
And the ring says, I cannot sense anything in that fashion. I protect you, but my protection is close to your skin. But I do not see any evil awakened here. If it is here, it sleeps.
Okay, so I'm thinking that if it's evil, it probably shouldn't have this sword. Because this sword looks pretty cool.
I mean, it does look, it's pretty cool. Except Lawgiver's like, excuse me?
And seeing any of the, I guess, decorations, whatever these things are, any insignias or anything, is there any way to tell who this person
So you
worshipped?
check out,
Is there,
yeah,
iconography of religion, or is it more like a noble's?
it is more like a noble's, and Tahir will step you through, kind of what he interpreted there. Definitely a noble line, definitely honorable, but it's as if the uh, the deity they may have followed was intentionally not named. Like where you would expect to see like, there is their holy symbol of insert name here. It just talks about how fine their steed was. Good
Well,
with
I
the
would make
hunting
the
dogs.
right. I will make the suggestion that we don't mess with anything here. I find it odd that in an area, kind of this whole area is somewhat consecrated to Set. This is a seemingly powerful, noble warrior, at least by judging by his weapon. And if Set has not been able to raise him to attack us, this area may actually be consecrated or protected somewhat from Set's power. So I don't, I think we should probably just leave this alone.
Does it appear that the door was attacked by the same sword that he's holding? I'm curious.
This door appeared intact.
Oh.
The one that had the scorpion behind it looked like maybe the scorpion had stabbed at the door from behind, making some of the splinters of wood pierce out. This one looks fine.
I'm gonna, before I leave the room, take one more once over, see if there's any hidden doors, any hidden buttons, levers, etc., etc. Anything hidden that's not clearly in
Sure.
sight.
You like okay, we're gonna check this, and you're like, oh, that's not a wall. So you shift the curtain a little bit, and the room goes back. You kind of peek to one side, and you peek to the other. One moment. One moment.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Standing just behind the curtains are skeletal guards. 10 skeletons wearing chainmail, armed with long swords, each of the skeleton holding back a skeletal dog that stands at its side, their arm one held down at the collar. They're not moving, but they're standing in a way that makes you think they're either wired and glued real well, or there's magic happening.
Do they bear any resemblance to Umphalos's skeletons?
Ooh, that's a good question. How about an insight check?
That is a good question.
It's an excellent question.
Oh, yes! Well played. Yes, these have the look of those who were made to this. Their bones don't show any signs of damage or violent death. So you would assume they passed peacefully. The armor that they are wearing is fitted to their skeletal forms, much like Omphalos's soldiers were. So these look to have been... Undeath is still kind of on the, not quite cool side, but as close to being okay with it as they could be. Still, shouldn't do that. Don't play with necromancy, kids.
Perhaps
Okay.
these are guardians of this Raxor fellow.
It would appear as such.
Can these things talk?
They're not moving in the slightest.
My guess is no.
Yeah.
Andry, there's like a little wet spot like towards the back of your shoulder / neck, where in the presence of so many amazing bones, even in his sleep, Murky has drooled a little.
Nice.
Oh, Murky. Are you hungry, buddy? Here,
Still just a sleeping puppy.
I will put a little bit of the scorpion meat that I've been eating in with him.
Okay.
It's a late night snack.
Training the dog to sleep eat.
Mhm.
But yeah. That's what we
All
got
right.
so far.
I will go ahead and just back out of the room and say a little prayer to Saloon as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Bow my head in respect and back out of the room.
You back out of the room. Tahir, Blitz, Andry.
I wait for Andry to leave. After you, Andry. I got it
Wait.
from here.
Oh, okay. You're here to take this stuff, though, right? It looks valuable.
I mean, it is, but it's not going anywhere.
You don't know that. Somebody could come along and just take it.
They've had 300 years to take this.
Yeah, good point.
Blitz
Where are we
steps
going
out.
now?
Tahir steps out.
Should we say his name just once before we go?
Well, I did. It was Rexor. Or Rakax. Rexo. Rakash.
Rakaj.
I'm gonna do a pronunciation for that.
It's arguable. It's an old language. It's written.
Many ways of saying it.
Yeah.
So
So-
we're thinking that the zombies are protecting it so we can't take his stuff. Is that what you guys are thinking?
Yes, I'm thinking that's based on what Blitz was saying.
But what if I need his stuff more than he does?
You have
I'm not saying-
Lawgiver.
I'm not saying I do, but what if I
If you did,
Would they just give it to me?
based on what Umflo said that her guardians would do, my guess is no. Well, that willingly.
They
Once
would have
again, you have Lawgiver. I'm sure you'll be fine.
they would have very specific instructions and very specific, like a triggering mechanism.
Sort of in the back of your mind, you can hear Lawgiver like this. This is why you get lectures every night.
I'm aware.
Apparently the sleep
I-
learning's not working, so...
I don't have to like the lectures, but I do listen to them.
Well, I believe there's still one more passage we haven't truly discovered. Shall we go that way and finish this place up?
Are we gonna close the door, or are we just gonna leave it open?
Yeah,
It's,
for me, if you insist.
and the only thing we found up here was some gold. If anybody wants to double check up there, that would be the only thing. Do anything with the meat, I guess.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I have some.
I've heard people eat scorpions, so
Get your
Just-
own.
Maybe you don't have to be rude about it.
I'll look around for goodies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure. I think a perception or an investigation check would be fine.
13.
I mean, a lot of lobster meat.
I can't see the gold past this lobster meat. I'm assuming there's gold in here.
Tahir, the meat's right there.
Hey, hold on, and I'll lift the tail. The tail's always the best part, and just like
Wait, that's where the poison is.
it could be like a delicacy, you know. Like if you prepare it in such a certain way, you can just cut out
jeez.
Can I
the
try
poison
some?
sec.
Like the fugu.
Ooh,
Sure. So Blitz comes on up and starts hunting around. Tahir investigates under the tail, and Tahir, you're the one to notice it. There's a little bit of a bulge on the tail. You know, the little swelling here, little swelling there. It looks like maybe at some point in the distant past, someone tried to wrestle or cut off the poison to the tail by securing it with a belt.
well, that's
Kind of
rather
like a
odd.
tourniquet style.
Is the belt still there? Or?
What's the bell look like?
Little leather belt. Got a little lion head clasp on it.
Oh.
Little gem in the eye.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh!
I think 1 + 1 has equaled 2.
Is that the belt Sam was looking for?
Sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, and like he starts unclasping the belt, getting the little loops off.
It's a nice belt, supple. It's reinforced with little gold bands in there. It's got a buckle shaped like a little lion's head. It's nice. It's nice.
I am gonna Pop squat into some nasty refuse. Prestidigitate a little bit. Nice clean circle. Pull out the book. Put the belt on the book. Start casting Identify.
Oh, hang on, Tahir.
Yes.
If we find out that it's really good, are we still gonna give it to Sam?
As much as I love the guy, from the bottom of my heart, I do. Shit. Hold on. Now this is...
We did
if we
promise him that we would help him.
Yes, we did. Perhaps this could be nothing, and this could be just a normal belt with a lion head on it, and it could be exactly
No,
what it's
but
looking
what
for.
I'm saying is, okay, it's a belt that gives you godlike powers.
Indeed, that's
But
what I'm about
it's
to find out.
also the belt that belongs to Sam. Are we still going to give it to him?
Well, it doesn't belong to Sam because he does not have the belt. And also, remember,
But it's the
Possession
belt.
is 9/10 of law.
It is the
That's
belt.
right.
Okay, let me rephrase. If it's the belt that we promised that we would try and find for him, and it gives you godlike powers, are we still going to give it to him?
how about you have this discussion
So to hear
in
you here,
approximately
but wait,
9 minutes,
who needs
56
me
seconds?
more?
Who said that?
Someone
Who
in
said
your
that?
head, in kind of a female voice, said, but wait, who needs me more? Hello? Yes, that's me. Hi.
Oh,
If you could just a little further back. Thank you.
Are you okay to hear?
the belt speaks. Hold on, I have a belt. Yes. We have rescued you, I think.
I was doing my very best to keep its poison in check. It's been some time now, but I think you've dispatched it well, and now, I'd be happy to help this Sam, I think you said it was?
Yes, he is a fellow by the name of Mighty Sam. He is a cloud giant. Blah.
Mhm.
And so his current predicament is he's promised to be resurrected if he gets... What we're thinking is you. But it's by Set, so there's a bit of a conundrum there.
Oh. No, that wouldn't do at all. Those who have given themselves over to Set, even if we assist them, they rarely are able to find their way to salvation. Healing and comfort, of course, but any promise from Set will not be fulfilled, at least not as expected. Is there no other way to help him? To free him?
You know, we've never thought of that.
Thought of
Dahrian,
what?
Oh.
you're
Yes.
the expert on curses.
Expert is a strong word, but I know
I mean,
little.
you've cured all of us and multiple afflicted with many different varieties of curses. I'd say you're an expert.
Thank you.
The belt. Sorry. Do you have a name?
I'm known as the girding of Mitra. The lion belt?
I think we have met some of your other allies, and I'll present the belt forward to Dahrian, and preferably towards the ring.
Oh, yes. How lovely to see them all again. You're such a
And now-
fine-looking party.
Her voice is like, I mean, it's like speaking. I mean, everybody can hear it, right?
It is telepathic, so she does communicate to you without audible, but she does connect to all of you as you come into line of sight. So Andry is the only one who has not probably heard her at this point.
Okay. Let's say well met. What How long have you been in this area? Do you have any idea on
Oh,
how
it's
time passing, or?
it's
Well,
been
Dahrian, I came down here with you. What are you talking about? We've been here for like almost a week, I think.
No, I am. I turn to Andry and I say, they've found a belt. Apparently, this is the belt that we were looking for.
I'm aware. I was just talking to Tahir about it.
Oh, sorry, it's behind my head. In reference to, and like, whoop.
Yeah. The belt is communicating with me. I was not addressing
Oh,
you.
you were talking to me. Okay,
Correct.
carry
Well-
on then.
Well, come in here. Come on.
I'm guarding the passage.
Ah,
Somebody could come in at any minute.
That is true.
Oh, I'm doing something good. Oh, thank you.
I know it has been quite some time. I would guess some hundreds of years since I came to this area. But the passage of time is a bit erratic. I was mostly asleep while holding back the poison. I don't get along well with scorpions.
Yes, most don't. You were asking me about curses. Tahir.
yes, she brought up the idea of fixing Sam's curse ourselves instead of having to hand her over. I was wondering if you might know a way. I mean, as I said, you are the curse expert.
Well,
We could give him the belt. That would cure it.
that would seem the sure way. You would have I mean, this is a curse handed down by
God, I don't
a-
think Dahrian's capable of just like usurping a god.
that's correct.
I might be, but I don't know if Dahrian is.
And Dahrian, I think you would recall part of Sam's story was he had died and bargained with Set for his life, effectively, and was imbued into this statue form. So not only is it just a curse, but it's also a contract.
Right.
Could be undone, but it would take it some doing.
Yeah, and I mean, is it? I mean, there would be all kinds of things that would go into that. Is it just? I mean, was his spirit put into a stone statue that was given life as part of this thing? I mean, or was it actually his body that he was brought back and then turned to more stone? Or, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns with this, but having it be a contractual thing with, I mean, it'd be something similar if you made a contract with a devil.
Wait,
That
Jan, do you know anything about being stoned?
I plead the fifth.
What does that mean?
It's like if you have a whole
He
bottle,
just doesn't say
it's
anything.
20% of the bottle.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
But I will say this. It would seem that if the deal was struck and the deal would meet its end if Sam was able to get this belt would be very important for Set to get a hold of.
You think so?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a holy relic of Mitra themselves. Sure, that'd be quite, well, let's say, fortunate if Set got a hand of it.
So the deal we made with Sam, we shouldn't honor then.
I mean, I'm thinking it would be bad because of all the. I'll just say this: of all the lions of, my ring.
Wait. If it would be bad, then why did we make the deal in the first place?
We didn't know that.
We did not contractually obligate ourselves to assist him in such a task. We said we will do what we can.
Correct.
And this is the do what we can part of it.
Yeah.
If we're...
How does the belt feel about it? Like, is she willing to help this storm giant, or?
Well, you're more than welcome to come in and ask her yourself if you just step out. Come on.
I'm watching the door.
Yeah,
Can you not talk to the belt?
Yeah, but it's like talk to the hand with a belt. What is this?
Oh, hello. As I was saying, I don't see as how giving myself over to Set would in any way improve this giant's life. He might be returned to life, but when he dies, he would suffer the most horrendous fate. And Set is known for his trickery. I'm certain that this mighty Sam was a worthy giant, but to outwit Set and come away from such a deal, even only having lost a little, would be phenomenal. But I am, for better or worse, a tool, an item to assist those who bear me. If you decide this, there is not much I can do about it, but I implore you to think it through very carefully.
Oh. Okay, well, I won't force you to do anything you don't want to do.
I appreciate
What-
that.
What do you do?
I'm
Or
a girdle
is
and
that-
provide support.
Oh. Not sure what that means.
Well, those who study the arcane would say that when worn by a goodly creature, I can help to protect those who stay within, say, 15 feet. And because identify was being cast and you're speaking to the girding, while attuned, you radiate a magical aura in a 15-foot radius. You and good-aligned creatures within the aura are protected as if by protection from evil and good. So, similar, but area effect to the ring.
Blitz, you've been super quiet. What do you think about this?
It would seem the most direct route to helping Mighty Sam would be to defeat Set.
I don't think that's how direct works, but I think the direct way would just be give him the belt.
Okay, yeah, you're right, but she doesn't want to go to him. So, I'm thinking, okay, I have said a couple of times that I can defeat a god.
Absolutely, you have.
I'm okay. I'm not really sure that that's actually true. It's a god we're talking about.
There's
Well, have you
only
ever
one way to
tried?
find out, Andry.
No, I've never tried to kill a god. That seems like it would probably end well for me and probably the rest of us. It's a god.
I mean, some mortals have transcended beyond godhood to slay them themselves. It's not too far-fetched.
It's what Mitra did, the belt offers.
See?
Lawgiver's like, Mitra did it. We can do it.
How did Mitra do it?
Oh.
Perhaps we can.
You
repeat
think
his
we could,
steps.
like, as we are now, we could kill a god?
I would think that you might want to consolidate your power, improve your skills, and then you could certainly attempt it. Gods are a bit tricky from time to time, but it is possible. Mitra
See,
and
she's
Set-
so supportive.
yeah, Mitra and-
I was just being facetious. I didn't really think that we could actually do it, but if you're saying that we can do it, we should probably do it. Set seems like kind of an asshole.
Let's do it. Does seem a bit. And thanks out there to the chat, Saint Maddie and Brackish and Haplo for joining in. And yeah, their party is not afraid to dive in deep, going up against the gods. And so, the artifacts of Mitra do chime in. We would love to contest against Set, but there are perhaps those between yourselves and Set which must be overcome first. The leader of this temple, perhaps.
My sword just told me that we could kill a god. I don't think anything in this temple can stop us.
That's the spirit.
Lawgiver's like, yes, you should.
I don't think that he would lie to me. Would he lie to me, Tahir?
Oh, I'm a researcher, not a philosopher. Leave the philosophical questions for Blitz or Dahrian. I will give you the most terrible answer.
Tann looks relieved that you didn't include him in the ask them category.
And as relief washes over your face, we'll see if maybe another expression is to follow as I ask for a fateful D6 as the party has been hanging about for some time, a searching and a identifying. Jenna in there first with the 4. No disturbances so far.
We're chilling.
Okay,
Well-
so I'm thinking that at this point we might as well go down to the bottom of this little, and we should go kill the god. Who's with me?
We
Tahir, does your belt know her neighbor?
Lawgiver is, you have my
Nope.
sword.
Point to the right over here. Is he?
What was it?
Is
Oh,
her name Gertie?
Girding, do you know anyone by the name of Rakesh?
I have not heard such name.
Do you know someone of the name of Umphalos?
Oh yes, Omphalos was one of the Guardian Naga. They visited us a long time ago.
Okay.
She's doing well.
Yeah.
How wonderful.
Should we show Girding the other room? See if that sparks anything?
sure.
I don't think if the ring doesn't know anything, like it's an inanimate object. Like, how much can they know?
I mean,
Hush.
she talks.
That's rude, man.
Your sword helps you on a daily basis.
Oh, he just complains a lot. I don't know if he helps.
Swords and belts have feelings too, man. Come on.
And rings.
We can really wear on them a lot.
I was an inanimate object once.
Yes.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
this.
that's true, Blitz. Wow.
I think you should apologize. That
I'm
was very
sorry.
rude.
I'm sorry, Sword. I didn't mean to, like, denigrate you.
It's okay. To err is
He-
human.
Have you attained feelings yet, Blitz?
I'm a Goliath, not a human.
He's a Goliath? I thought he was here with
Wait, you didn't know that?
No, I just
Human-
thought you were really tall.
Humans don't get this tall. At least I've never seen a human this tall.
I thought you were an anomaly.
You know, I once met a performer with a very similar name to yours.
Yes.
I don't remember it though. It was something like along those lines. Adrian, maybe?
Sounds familiar.
Alphonse?
It sounds French.
Alfredo? Anyways, what are we doing?
That's a good
You
question.
guys
What
said
are we
there
doing?
was something else that we didn't search?
Oh, there's a passage a little more south from the hole we went down. We haven't gone that way yet.
The sword in there and the armor, they look pretty good, but you guys just want to leave it for now, right?
Let's put it like this. Dahrian, do you use a greatsword?
I do not.
Do you want to use the greatsword?
I do not.
Tann? And I'll keep asking everyone in the party the exact same question.
I do not use a greatsword.
Blitz?
I would not be opposed to using a greatsword.
Oh, shit. Do you do you want to use a greatsword?
Yes, I will try it. Wait, do you have a greatsword? This
Not
greatsword?
What?
Yeah, the guy in there has a great sword. I don't know if you touch it though, whether that'll be the thing that makes all the zombies be like, "Yeah, we're gonna eat you now." Sorry, Blitz. I know you're metal, but
So, if you want to just do it without fault of anything bad happening, I could just the room.
You would explode the room?
Yeah,
that seems kind of excessive.
it would get rid of the skeletons and probably the skeleton of the poor
Yep.
paladin, Rakesh.
But the skeletons aren't evil. Like, I'm not even sure they're alive at this point. I
Well,
haven't seen
they're
any
dead
of them
because they're
move.
skeletons. So, typically,
And
if someone does not have their skeleton, they are dead.
none of them have moved since we've been hanging around with them. Right? Has anybody seen one of them move? Maybe they
No.
don't do anything at all.
You are making this very difficult.
If they're meant to be scarecrows, it's odd to put a curtain in front of them.
I am quite certain, as with the room with Umphalos, if the body is messed with, or the sword and armor and such, if anything is touched in there, I have a feeling that is going to be the trigger that they will defend. And I would
I'm not sure you're right. Like, if I need that to defeat, like, I don't need those things because I have this sword, and it will get mad at me if I grab another sword.
sure.
But if I need this to defeat Set, I don't think Set's followers would be mad at me if I used it for that purpose.
Yes, but it does not seem that this particular person followed either Set nor Mitra. He was dedicated to a
Then
different
why does
god.
Mitra's followers protect him?
Oftentimes, when there is a battle going on, you have alliances between churches and such. So it could be that this is an ally of Mitra, and because this was Mitra's kind of hub of strength or whatever. When this person fell, he was given the honors of Mitra without all the strappings of Mitra's
With all
iconography.
With all due respect, Dahrian, I think you're speculating.
Yes, I am. That is absolutely correct.
Blitz, if you
Good-
want
good
that
insight.
stuff and those things attack you, I will assist you. If your purpose is to help us defeat Set. Is that your purpose?
Currently, yes. Perhaps we should secure them as they are going to waste here. So if for no other reason, I hate to see good armor go to waste. So
All right. I will point out that I probably won't be able to use my sword against these undead things, although it likes to kill undead things. I'm not sure these guys are evil, though. And they may be good, and my sword has told me that if I hit them and they are good, it's going to hurt me. I'm just laying everything out on the table for you, Blitz. I'm 100% behind you. If you want to help yourself to that stuff, I will defend you.
you just look around at everyone with a blank face. Do you wish me to retrieve the items?
We have to be very careful with our next words.
I wish you not to.
Because you think that... I'm not really sure what you think. Never mind.
Perhaps another time we will come back.
In my experience, Dahrian is a skilled speculator.
Yes.
Okay. Where's that other passage you guys said that was you hadn't been down?
Oh, it's just this way, and I will.
And I
Lead
care
the
you were
way.
talking about, right?
So I will say, at the moment, you have not spent an entire short rest hour, so no one is currently attuned to the belt, but it seems pleased enough to be moving along. Tahir, as you make your way over to that hallway, you can see it goes down. It goes level quite a ways to a pair of doors. Those doors are metallic and currently closed. And one moment as I catch up to where we just moved. Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Ba-doop, ba-doop. The corridor makes a left turn into an open hallway. The floor here is polished white marble, a stark contrast to the drab gray stone walls. At the opposite end of the hall, 60 foot away, are a pair of metal doors.
Anything noticeable about the doors themselves?
I don't know what you use them to try and notice with.
My eyes.
Your eyes. Could I see your eyes roll, please?
What do you want?
I don't know. Are you?
I have investigation and I have perception.
Either of those seems fine to me. They might provide different things.
Investigation sounds wonderful. 11.
Even from this distance, you can tell lock.
Well, that's a rather large door to keep locked. And I guess to investigate, you would have to get a little bit closer. Boop, 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 boop.
Boop, 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 boop.
Are you guys going with them?
I will
Please
watch
pause for
from
station
here.
identification.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Tann and Dahrian,
Yes.
you can feel a force pushing down on your heads. You have the option of going north or south, but staying where you are will result in you being squished flat. Would you like to be squished north or south from where you are?
Oh. I'm gonna go with instinct.
I
I
think I might
go.
roll a dice.
Yep, that's what I did. 1 or 2, I was moving this direction. 3 and 4, I was moving the other direction. I rolled a 2. So.
All right, I'll follow yours. So 1 or 2 is up, and then 3 or 4 is down.
Mm.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right. You both end up on that side as a force appears, a wall-like force.
Ah.
Oh no.
Along with the wall-like force, the
Dunk,
area
dunk.
of the hallway begins to fill with a heavy gas
Oh.
coming in. Blitz, you're like, that's pretty. You are immune to poison, correct?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I'm just checking to make sure.
Just do me a favor and double
No,
check.
resistant.
Oh, you are resistant. Okay, well that's
Yeah.
not quite immune. So could I have a DC 15 Constitution saving throw? And 18 is pretty good. Tahir, could I have a DC 15?
Just checking some
Constitution
spells
saving throw.
quickly, just in case. Acid, fire, lightning, or thunder. It's no poison. I'm a wizard. Doop 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 boop
The
boop.
wizard.
11.
And 11. Here you will take 12 points of damage. Blitz, you will take 6 divided in half is 3 points of damage. You can feel this gas is just causing your legs to violently twitch and spasm. Blitz, you can see the like wood curling, I guess, paint peels, whatever it is you do. The gas currently occupies the lower foot of the hallway. The hall itself is about 15 foot tall. If you could be not on the lowest foot, you would be out of the gas, but the gas is quickly rising. And so, round 1, what are you all doing? We'll start with Tahir and Blitz as they're in the mix. Tahir and Blitz, what are you doing?
A lot of hacking and coughing happening. Would I be able to see the door from this position, just the other side of the wall? You said it's a wall of force? Is it
Oh, the wall of
see-through,
force is
opaque?
this green bit right here. Did that come up?
See-through, opaque.
That is see-through.
I will. Hold on, I gotta check measurements again. Oh. All right, we're good. I can get through there. I'm going to point at Blitz.
Mhm.
He's going to feel a little funny as he just dissolves into sand, just
Okay.
for a brief moment, as I cast Vortex Warp, and he
Okay.
poofs out on the other side.
Did I open the door, Tahir? Oh.
And I, with my bonus action, will cast my Blessing of the Raven Queen and teleport just a little bit above Tann, because that's the only angle I can really get to.
Okay.
And so I probably fall on top of Tann.
Sounds good. So, at the moment, the party is all on the other side of the wall of force. We won't worry about turn order at this point, but you can see that hallway just like slowly fills up 1 foot at a time.
Don't go in there.
You okay? Yeah, it's trying to turn his head to kind of look back at him.
I'm good. Yep.
You alright, Blitz?
Slight peeling.
I think that's okay. Hopefully.
Yeah. It's all cosmetic. Purely
Yes, I can buff
cosmetic.
that out.
Usually whenever I peel, it's from sunburn, so
Someone
not
call it a
deadly, but
flesh wound.
uncomfortable.
Well, I
Oh.
guess it's a good thing only him and I went in, because that could have been worse.
Could have been very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly a minute later,
I-
you just see like the roiling fog in there. It's getting a little darker as more poison's being added, but it's now just filled the whole hallway.
Wait, what do you guys think is behind the door then?
No idea.
Now that I got a better look at the hallway, the base on where it's positioned, and thinking, probably nothing. Probably just a death hallway.
Could just be a death hallway. Could be a closet.
No. Could I don't know, there could be a purple mist behind there.
Could be a purple mist behind there. Could be a
Anyways.
naughty painting. One of those naughty murals that they've locked up. That you've read so much about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
set up
Whoa.
a trap that elaborate for nothing.
A very naughty painting.
2 minutes pass. It's like an aquarium of death mist.
You think it'll go away?
Perhaps we shouldn't stick around to find out if it does.
Where should we go next?
There's a whole third floor to this place we still have yet to touch.
That is true.
That is very true.
To the third floor.
To the third floor!
Death and
Third.
destruction awaits us.
Things we don't want to run into. Let's run into them.
No,
Right.
I mean they're gonna die and be destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Not us. We're god killers.
That's almost certainly true. As you look north, every once in a while, that big metal ball goes right past. And way to the west, you've got your double doors leading to Big Sam's room. Where are we headed?
I mean, the closest way is just below us. Through Mighty Sam's room. I look at
That
the belt,
is true.
look at my bag. I'm just gonna tuck you in here for just a little bit. And just keep quiet. Shh, shush.
Now, am I recalling correctly that this room, we went and we looked in there, and this was kind of like a ramp area going down, right? Or am I just
Yes.
looking at? I think
Yep.
we
Yeah,
did
you
that.
peeked in here
before.
very briefly, and this is a ramp leading downward. Misty
Right.
floor, ramp leading downward, kind of like a waterfall of mist, just a little river of mist leading down in that direction.
So there is that, or straight down the
To
pit
bears.
With the bears.
to the bears.
I think the best option is probably the ramp down. It's the closest. Well, the walk past any more things. Just walk straight down.
Should we tell Sam that we have the belt?
Probably not.
No.
I think he'd attack us.
He's a statue. How would he attack us?
He says he
Wait.
can move.
Yeah,
He said he could.
he said he's killed others before. Well, I lie. I don't know about kill, but he has attacked, and I assume kill.
You have seen him move enough to take his hat off and put belts in it, so he is at least able to animate. I don't believe you've seen him step off his pedestal yet, though.
Correct. He said yet. The voice in the sky said yet.
Oh man.
I would
Oh,
like
man.
to point out that if we bring the belt in there, maybe he'll be able to sense it.
That's possible.
Is that a risk we're willing to take?
Can you repeat what you said? I'd missed it.
He may be able to sense the belt.
Oh.
Well,
It's just in his bag. It's not like it's hidden.
Mm-hmm.
it's
I
that,
know it's there.
or we take a major detour. As in going all the way up to their first floor, go down that one way, go take left down there, go this way, and then we'll get on the other side where the giants
Okay.
were.
Tahir, what I'm getting at is I don't really want to kill Mighty Sam. I will do it if I have to. But I leave the decision up to you. Because you're the one that has the belt.
I mean, if anything, we can say it's the sword or the ring. Because I imagine they have similar Mitra energies. Right?
Yeah.
Just give him the snake belt. There we go. Maybe that's the one, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Snake belt. There we go. Bam.
Who's got the snake belt?
And you.
Wait, I have the snake belt?
You picked it up from the statue in the Warrens.
What does it do?
It's a belt
With a snake.
on it.
Snake belt.
And while you do that, I can just walk down the other way, you know? Out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, let's give that a shot.
And I'll get the door and be like, after you, big guy.
This feels like
Best
when like
buddy, pal.
I feel like this is when like siblings like try to like work out like, okay, who's gonna steal the cookies and who's gonna distract mom, but mom's
Heist.
gonna kill you if he finds out.
Who's willing to take the fall?
All right, so you walk into Sam's room. Sam's like, "Hey guys, more belts?
I got one for you.
Awesome! Let's give it a try." Pillbox off. He's like, "Yeah," and you offer it out.
Time to walk while he's distracted. Do.
So what I'm thinking here is that you shouldn't need to do bad. You should not need to do amazing. You just have to not look guilty. Okay, so what we're going to ask is, Andry, I would like to see a deception better than 5. And Tahir, I would like to see a stealth check better than 5.
Alright, so Andre's feeling really guilty. Can I do this at disadvantage?
Sure.
I'm picturing the zoom in on the sweat drop forming on his
Now-
forehead. Like,
Now, I would like to point out, you did say better than 5.
I did say better than 5. So here's what I think's happening. I think like Andres like out like, hey Sam, I have one belt for you, so that he's not technically lying. Sam's like, that's a really weird way to say that, fella. So he takes it, drops it in, hands you a belt. He like looks over and like Tahir's like do like being like all sneaky smooth. Yeah, got the whistle going. He's like, is everything okay? And like he's looking over at you like, you alright?
Things couldn't be better.
Okay.
We avoided getting killed by orcs. I'm feeling good. Do you know anything on the 3rd floor?
Do I? No. Just, I mean, just that the bears, you know, the bear fella came up, Jor, and his friend, you know, from when you went down there and he came back up. But
Okay.
that's about
We're
it.
thinking of. Oh, okay. We're thinking of going to the 3rd floor. So we weren't sure if there's any of the other things, because the orc guys were like, "Yeah, watch out. He's crazy down there." So we're sure.
Wait,
if you've ever
hold
been down
on.
there.
There was orcs?
Oh yeah, that's right. You were timing your runs. Yeah, there were orcs. What's wrong with that statement?
Here, are you okay?
Timing your run.
So many orcs. It was really wonderful.
And so I will say at that point, Tahir, you could definitely make it there, but Sam will be like, "What is going on here? Like, you looked nervous, but you can make it. It just you'll leave Sam with a bit of a lingering
I didn't
suspicion."
know there was orcs.
But okay, kind of left you behind there, huh? That's all right. I get left behind a lot here too.
They
Oh.
do that. But I've got this sword, so he talks a lot.
And
Bye, Sam.
have a good time. Bring me more belts.
We'll keep an eye out for builds.
If we can.
What?
If
And-
we can.
I mean, if you just bring me any belts you find, right? Like you
If we
said.
can come back up here.
Yeah, we heard it's deadly down there. So
Oh,
we're just nervous.
I'm pretty
I'm
sure.
so scared.
He did almost get gassed in a hallway, so
Wait, Sam,
he's feeling a little anxious.
Can you come down and help us?
No, I'm not allowed to leave my room. Set grounded me.
And I'll look over to here longingly.
Ooh.
And so.
I'll thank you so many belts. I promise. I'll see you later. Bye.
Sam's like, okay, something seems off. Must have had it rough there or something. So you make your way into a circular room, perhaps 40 feet in diameter. Air humid and musty. I believe in the center of this room is a 5-foot diameter metal basin containing some water.
Ooh.
There might be a dead body of a 2-headed serpent lying around, but it's got some rat bites on it.
Oh yeah.
That was a while back.
Dang, yeah, I totally forgot about the
That
serpent.
was like yesterday.
That was like yesterday.
It feels like months ago.
I think Andry was throwing hands.
That checks out.
I don't
Andry
remember
does
any
throw
of this.
Well,
Wait.
you were mostly
Yeah,
drunk.
sometimes I
guy.
throw hands. It's fun, Tann. You should try it someday. Just go ahead and smack somebody right in the face.
Here you
Not me,
open up.
though, okay?
Oh, okay.
Open up that
I'll give it a
door and
try.
you can see that.
Well, if you want to do me, you can.
Oh?
Sorry, Mr. Voice in the Sky.
No, it's okay. Tahir door opens up. You can see that mist just creeping along, little waterfalls and rapids of mist heading down the little steps there. No real obvious source of the mist, though. The humidity behind you is kind of just condensing out of the air and then rolling on down.
Blitz, are you feeling okay?
I feel a little guilty for tricking Sam. But otherwise, yes.
I do too. I think that was kind of a dick move, but Tahir seems to know what he's doing.
If you guys went in the future, I could probably lie to him. I used to have to lie a lot. So I don't feel as bad as much when I do.
Tann, I don't want to have to lie.
Omission of truth. It'll be fine. It's not lying. It's lengthening our lifespans.
I may have to sit down and meditate on that. I'm not really sure that's true.
Take your time.
I'm not going to do it right now. Tahir's rushing into danger.
True.
I'll watch your guys'
So brave!
back. You guys go ahead. Tahir, you said you were fine up front.
And pause for just
I am.
pause for
you
just a
know.
moment. Tahir, as you are fine up front, you're like making your way down, and you hear like a little like twang noise, kind of like a lute string or something else breaking, and you feel a little slap back on your leg, and you look down, and there's just like a little bit of wire that's like wrapped itself around your leg, and as you look down, it goes from a little kind of like silvery dark gray metal to like a warm orange to hot white.
Ouch.
Uh,
Oh!
ouch,
Oh!
indeed. Could I get a dexterity saving throw from you, please?
I am a wizard.
You are a wizard, but you're not enough of a wizard for that.
What does that even mean?
That means that you take 2 points of fire damage, and there is a white hot wire wrapped up around your leg.
Oh.
Ah! Ouch! Stop it!
And round one of the white hot wire wrapped around Tahir's leg. What's everybody doing?
Blitz is having a flashback to that room with the spider web that he lit on. Remember the heat metal?
Very
And
similar.
we left the kobolds in there, like snipping those wires so we could search that room.
Yes.
We're like, we'll be right back. I don't know how long ago that was, but
They're funded.
They are funded.
Can I attempt to cut the wire just a little bit?
Sure. Dexterity check.
Dexterity check or dexterity save?
Dexterity check.
Bastard.
And 11. So you go down and you like try and get a tool in. Nope, it's gonna burn. But your friends might be able to save you. Friends.
I am a friend. I don't know how I'm gonna save him, but I'll
Right.
find a way.
I bonus action do Steps of the Night,
Okay,
which gives me flying
you got it.
Ooh.
equal to my walking speed. And I'll be able to get to him.
Okay. Staying above the mist to keep yourself clear of any hidden dangers.
Yes.
You look down. Tahir's got leg all wrapped up in a wire. You can see that the wire leads down to the floor, so likely he's not free to move at the moment.
Okay. All right. I've moved over my speed, so I can't really do anything else.
You got it. Blitz, Andry, Tann?
can I move up and chop the wire?
Sure.
Should I move in such a way where you see which squares I step on?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oops. I'm gonna go from here.
Mm.
Go like this to there. Over to. Can I chop it from there?
I didn't see you move yet. Oh, there you go. 15 feet. Okay.
Oh.
Do you have anything that gives you reach while chopping?
No.
Are you going to try and chop with a pole arm?
So. Oh, whoops. That's not to here.
Okay. No,
Oh,
okay.
I got the tokens confused.
No problem. I was like, if you have a way that you can do that from a distance, I'm willing to hear it. So I will need a dexterity saving throw from you, as you also hear a little bit of a patwang noise.
Snaps.
I got good news and bad news. You definitely have a wire within reach now that you could cut. Unfortunately, it's on your leg, and it is doing you 4 points of fiery damage right now.
Uh-huh.
Tahir and Blitz are both tangled. Tann?
Do I have something that will help? Not really. Would using a crowbar on the wire?
I mean, sure. That'd be more of a strengthy check than a dexterity check, but
I mean, it's either that or I got a rapier, but I don't imagine that would be good at pulling off of wire because they might bend. Yeah, what the hell? This is a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. All right, let's get over there.
Okay. You have not sprung a wire trap yet.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to try to carefully wedge a crowbar between Blitz's leg and the wire, and like see if that I can wiggle and loosen the wire.
Sure. Strength athletics, and I'm not going to give you advantage on
No.
this one. It just doesn't seem like a.
No, it's more or less what he's trying to do is not necessarily to make it easier, but so he doesn't touch the hot wire.
Yep, I got you. Got it.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, yeah. You get it, you catch it in the fork and you unwind it and then pin it down and you good. Blitz is no longer grappled by the wire.
My mom liked to make jewelry. It's a special technique.
Well done, Andry. Have you got anything?
I'm standing beside some water.
In our
Fountain?
a bowl of brackish water. Kind of got a salty smell to it. It's wet.
Can I throw it at Tahir? He seems to be burning. And I'd like to
Yes.
point out that I do have the Tavern Brawler, which gives me improvised weapons.
Sure. So this thing is 5 foot across, so it's 5 foot in diameter. So you're basically picking up a small kiddie pool worth of water. You're getting it going. You're gonna hit the doorway, so you're gonna have to angle it a little bit so you get a little sway going here.
I think I could probably pick it up and carry it 15 feet would be my guess.
No, it's just an object. You can carry it full distance.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll carry it 30 feet.
30 feet. Give it a little sway, and then from 10 feet away, you're just gonna be whoosh.
Yeah, it's water. What could go wrong, right?
What could go wrong?
Flashback 24 hours ago in my notes of the southern room. I wrote
Weird.
2 heads on a snake. It's not Empress. Magic water in a basin. Magic water is meant to be drank. Maybe a healing pool. And that's all I wrote.
So this
Okay.
wave of water is now coming at you.
Wait, what are you doing? What?
Andry, can I get a strength athletics check from you as you're just whoosh?
Wait, where did you get water?
So a kiddie's pool worth of water just whoops down. It's enough to temporarily dampen and cool the wires, so you will not take damage next turn. But I don't know that it's helped out any better. You have one opportunity here to hear as that water's coming towards you. Should you wish to open your mouth and take a gulp, you may. Otherwise, this potentially magic water is about to just be a puddle.
Let's just say this.
Yeah?
Let's see where he catches him in his speech. 1 and 2, his mouth was open. 3 and 4, his mouth was closed. His mouth was closed.
Mouth was closed. Just whoosh. You are now damp, but you did not swallow any of the water. And so, that was everybody's turn around this turn. The wire is cooled for the moment, so to hear no damage. Round 2, who would like to do stuff?
I'm gonna try and get off of it again.
Okay, go ahead and give me your choice: strength, athletics, or dexterity check. Sorry, strength, athletics, or dexterity, sleight of hand.
Oh, the horse of peace. I don't want to teleport.
Oh, sleight of hand. You managed to get yourself wriggled in there. Maybe just enough dampness to get it whooped down, get your leg out of there. It springs back up like a demonic slinky. But you are free at the moment. Now what?
Ugh.
How big was that snake body that's in that other room?
3 foot. No, it was bigger than that because it was coiled up. Maybe 10 foot.
10 feet long.
10 feet long.
Okay.
Around
Okay.
half a foot around, 10 feet long. Appropriate big snake dimensions.
Thanks, Andry. Ugh.
I do
Where'd
it again.
Where'd you get the water?
It was in the other room.
Huh?
And you like look over and it's the basin that he carried in.
Does that thing roll?
With the basin?
Yeah, could you roll the basin?
Probably. Why?
It might be noisy, but go ahead and if there's more of those things, seems like maybe if you just rolled that basin kind of down the middle, it might set off
Tahir,
more of those things.
I
Yes.
have a question for you. Am I allowed to go ahead of you?
Hey, Andry, did you
W-
move up to there
one
without
second.
rolling the basin?
I did, yeah.
Okay, could I get a quick dexterity saving throw?
Perhaps it'd be best if we just go. The stairs are just and you're trapped.
And
Yeah,
Sprunk,
right.
4 points of fire damage as a hot wire grabs onto your leg. We'll need a strength athletics check if you want to try and break free, or dexterity sleight of hands. And boom,
Oh no,
you
it'd be
just
strength.
Just rip it right off and toss it back.
Holy shit, those things hurt. Yeah, I'll go ahead and you guys just stay behind me, okay?
Just wait. Hold on. There's a perfectly good set of stairs, just like 30 feet the other way. They're just like right there. We can just take those. No
What? Wait.
hot wires.
Why did we take that to begin with?
Like, traps, man. How are we supposed to know?
It's fine. Let's just go this way. You guys follow me, okay?
At least look for them. Don't just step willy-nilly.
That seems like it would take time.
We have all of the time in the world.
We've been down here for days. Yeah, you're right. We got all the time in the world. It's fine. Okay, you want to look or do you want me to?
I'll have a look first, because I was
Okay.
the one at fault for not recognizing it.
Just be careful, because I don't want you to get caught again. I don't have any more water.
Does anyone have a stick?
I got a rapier.
Does anyone have a stick?
I got a
I'll
sword.
have the serpent
Does
staff.
anyone have a stick?
I got a crowbar.
The serpent staff.
A stick!
The staff
It's-
would be a stick.
It's a metal stick.
I could just poke at the ground in front of us, and if it snips the wire, it just cuts off a bit of the stick, and then we can just pull it up, and then we have a shorter stick. Just trap, whoop, pull it up, like that.
I got a torch. It's a short stick.
That's like a stick.
Yeah. Whoop. Give you the torch.
I wish to employ my wire trapping technique of just poking the ground with a piece of wood.
Sure.
Does Sam have a stick? I think Sam had something.
I think we
He had
should
a
leave
broom.
Sam alone, because we kind of... I really think we lied to him.
Like as you're making your way down, like arguing over the purpose of the stick, like maybe one of you looks back at the two doors that are just being very quiet right now. Like we're not sticks.
If a door could sweat, it's sweating right now.
But the good news is with your trap detection skills and a little bit of care, you are able to make your way down to the next level of the dungeon.
We did it.
Down.
We did it.
Down.
We finally progressed.
We're
Further.
in a new floor. Oh my god, bears.
Oh!
Boop, boop,
Oh, we're over there.
boop, boop. You are this copy of yourselves.
Oh.
And
This copy?
this copy.
It's us from the past. There's some time trickery going on here.
We're not going to talk about that part. Let's come over here. Bring this one up here.
Okay, so Tahir,
Come over
I've
here.
spent days following you, and you get into a lot of trouble. Are you sure you don't want me to go ahead of you?
But we're always also behind you. I don't want you to have to, always be like, here goes me again. I guess I will have to do it by myself. You just share the burden.
I will stay in the back then.
What was that? It seems that your voice is getting away from you.
I said I will stay in the back then.
Oh, I'm not telling you to stay in the back. I'm saying you don't have to take the lead all the time.
You be my guest. Just don't die again.
It was a lucky hit. I'm okay.
Are you
Whoa.
sure?
What the hell is that?
The corridor meanders before turning south into a widened section, bending around and then upwards once more. The cavern reeks of death and decay and hosts a grim scene. Numerous bloody bodies lie strewn among piles of rocks. Worse, several unclad humanoids with dirty talons and elongated tongues feast on the still warm flesh. Would you all be so kind as to roll yourselves into initiative?
No.
I am kind.
Got four.
Sandra's
Four with
roll-
advantage.
Group, roll higher, please.
That's what I get for being unkind. I'm the first.
I rolled 4 with advantage. So, if I may, I'm gonna
That's
go.
pretty good, but you're a cleric. You're supposed to roll low.
Yeah, I'm gonna go use the restroom
Oh,
because
yep, absolutely. Let's take our
think I will-
5-minute break
I will-
there. 3 to 5 minute break.
Oh, okay.
So we will BRB. Let's throw ourselves there, and we'll come back for a quick finish up. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll fade out the players there.
It's gonna snow for like another 12 hours.
They can hear us.
Nice.
I wonder what my weather's gonna be.
Hey everybody.
Cloudy with a chance of smog.
Welcome back. The party has just made their way down to the 3rd level of this particular dugout, and as they did so, they encountered a pile of ghouls and ghasties feasting on the remains of some humans. Well, humanoids, I should say. And Tann seems to be the only one with the fast feet at the moment. Tann, what might you be doing?
That's a good question. Because I was trying to figure that out myself. Yeah, I really was. I don't think there's really. Well, could I scoot over here and send a lightning bolt right down the middle of these ghouls?
Sure.
My arrow won't let me do that, but
Yep.
conceptually.
I understand what you. I understand what you're trying to do. Like,
Cool.
Boink, boink, boink.
You got it, sir.
That's
All right.
That's a thing lightning bolts can do. Yes.
Sweet. Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Oh, it moved when I tried to click the mouse. There we go.
Lightning bolt indeed. We're gonna end up with. Ooh, that's a big number. Is that big enough that I have to roll?
Is 13 big enough?
No.
Oh.
I do have to roll a bunch though. Okay. Typewriter style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, what's your DC? 16.
16. They all fail.
Nobody passes. And that was
Got close though.
26 points of damage, you say?
Yeah.
Oh. I've got some good news, and I've got
Oh.
some bad news.
Oh.
The good news is, I did vary their hit points. The bad news is, I didn't vary it enough. All 6 of the ghouls.
Dang.
That sounded like all
Tann,
good news.
anything else?
I threw my hands, and he's just gonna like have him in the air as the lightning bolt goes off. And that's it.
All right. As you do so, the last one up rushes forward, closing the distance with you, reaching
Oh
out,
shit.
claws outstretched. Tann, a 20
Yeah,
to hit,
that'll hit.
6 points
I
of
get
damage.
Well-
and can I get a DC 10 Constitution saving throw?
Can I get you to re-roll that?
Oh, you can get me to re-roll, you
Ah,
bum.
sweet.
Bonk. A 9. Does a 9 hit?
Does not hit.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Thanks, Andry.
That's gonna bring up Blitz.
I love you, Tann.
Blitz, what do we got?
Decapitation.
Oh,
Which-
that's a pretty good trick.
Watch out for his tongue, Tann.
14's pretty good damage. 7's pretty good more. Takes that to a 21. Tongue is still attached, though. Blitz, anything
No.
else?
Nope. I miss my dog every time at the end of the turn.
Aw.
Bonus action, miss Bowser. And then that's it.
You got it. Tahir, anything?
Fire! Shit! Crossbow! Maybe? Ka-cha! Damn
No.
it! I am really guilty about tricking Sandman. It's just, I don't know if I can continue, dude. They all have belts on.
They do.
It's just, that's it.
Andry.
Tann, why are you in the front? I don't understand.
I don't know either. Just happened.
I would like to punch this thing.
Okie dokie.
Oh.
No.
If only we had rerolls. Damn it, I'll punch it again.
Okie dokie. Yes.
All right. I don't know if I do any damage to it. It's not magical. So,
Did some?
but
Wait.
I would like to grapple it.
Oh. Hugging up on it. It says no, but you still say yes anyway. It said no as hard as it could, and yet still grappling.
That's right. Waste those nat 20s. I like it. I'm going to drag it 15 feet this way.
Okay.
So I think it would probably end up over here.
You got it.
I
Dahrian,
got you, Dad. It's fine.
probably good that Andry pulled it away. You were about to be overcome by the smell, and then it just eased up just enough. Dahrian, what do we got?
I I will just move up and attack it.
Big deep breath and then step right in. What do we got?
Yep.
16 is going to hit.
Ooh,
Ooh,
18.
18, and that will do it. With the Divine Strike, we are out of turn order. Ghouls and Ghasties are felled. Well
Nice.
done. Lot of bodies laying around in this hallway right now. And so, what we're going to ask for is a quick investigation check, please, from whoever would like to be in charge of that.
Not I.
How does one
Let's
investigate?
How does one investigate?
I can do it.
I have a
Tahir?
passive 15 investigation, if that means anything.
Oh, that's good. Man, your passive stuff is great.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's all I'm good for. Because I look at they have so many belts.
Tahir, you take
okay.
a quick look around. You see that the bodies of those who have fallen are equipped as though adventurers, likely others somewhat like yourselves, moving about the area. But down here on a lower level, falling afoul of the ghouls, you can see the many claw marks and bite marks of them that had been torn into and now chewed through. Something is tickling the back of your mind about that.
Of their method of death, or
Of folks that are killed by ghouls.
no.
I don't
The
know.
vampire legend says if you're killed by a vampire, they have a habit of raising you from the dead. As the vampires spawn! Ah! You know, I don't know if ghouls do the same thing. Dahrian, do you know anything about ghouls? As the
Do
cursed
I?
undead expert?
I
You just keep
think,
adding more credentials to Dahrian.
yeah. Right. I'll have a laundry
resume.
list of acronyms, behind my name, like this big. MD, DDS, PhD.
DDR?
Yes. Is there anything that I know? I mean, I think, if I recall, it's possible that ghasts they're a little more powerful, that they can maybe turn things into undead when they feast on their flesh, that they may raise them as either ghasts or ghouls.
So as you're sort of like thinking that over, you're like, no, no, no. They're okay.
We
Ghasts
should be
and
fine.
ghouls not known for that.
Okay. I think we're safe.
I don't know why I felt nervous all of a sudden.
Yeah.
How did they get here, though?
What do you mean? How did they get here?
They're adventurers. They
Well, I got that far, but of everything we've encountered so far down here, it's quite miraculous they made it this far by
wait.
themselves.
They hear they're adventurers. Do you think they have like special items?
There's a possibility. I mean, I don't know. They have entirely. If you want to take a little bit, we can look.
I got your back, brother.
Sure.
Aw,
A
warms
little
my heart.
a little hunting around, and you're able to track back where the ghouls and gas had made several trips to and from the bodies, dropping chunks of meat as they go. But it does seem like they had, made a little treasure nest of sorts under a pile of rocks with a giant's skull balanced atop it. are a considerable number of copper pieces, about 1,000 of those, 200 some gold, 25 platinum, a couple of shiny green emeralds worth 1,000 gold each, and a scroll of protection from beasts.
Hmm. Scroll of protection from beasts, eh?
Hmm.
Those bears
Wait,
would have nothing on us.
were they trying to kill the bears?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, that's just
Maybe.
mean.
Yeah.
Just bears.
You've turned over a new leaf, Andry. Only 27 hours ago, you were attempting to kill the bears.
I didn't try and kill them. I would have subdued them, but I wouldn't have killed them.
Do their foot seem to be wrapped in any way?
Hmm?
Like, is their foot's wrapped up in the wires, like from before? Or are they just down on the floor?
Dead on the floor. You do not see any signs of burn marks. Apparently, they were able to bypass the wires without stumbling into them.
Perhaps they haven't gone up this way yet.
Or that.
Perhaps they went around.
Oh. See, I was thinking they were just smarter than you to hear.
Gonna say
Harsh.
anything. Not gonna say anything. I dedicated decades of my life to the study of the arcane arts. I wasn't really perceptive when it comes to circus traps. I was seeing the curriculum. It's fine. I'm good.
Actually, you guys have said some things that are in and around the right a topic train. How about a quick insight check from somebody? See if we can put some things together. Oh,
Ooh.
Dahrian's on it. So Dahrian, they are equipped weapon and armor-wise, what's scattered about, as would be for an adventurer's, but they're missing the rest. There's not enough rations. There's not water skins. There's not, the odd, memento here. It's just their gear was stripped down for combat specifically. And yeah, how did they get here like this? There's there's not enough gear here.
The rats?
Maybe moving on further, we'll find out.
Yeah. And it seems that they were raised to specifically fight and guard something. So I say we move forward. And this is the way we're going, right? This is the
Yep,
direction.
you would be heading down in that direction.
Tahir, you want me to go ahead?
I thought Dahrian is lead on this one. He seems
Oh.
pretty good about it.
I
Yeah.
apologize. I will go behind Tann then.
Keep my eyes scanning everything with my excellent dark vision and stuff.
You got it.
So
A little bend there as it kind of jogs its way down. It looks like this is, as it was being excavated, done as sort of a switchback to keep the slope reasonable. It now bends around, continuing down, heading northwestish. If this had been better finished, you would maybe consider it like a staircase, but it's really just a steep path downward, carved through the rock that had tumbled down. Dahrian, as you're making your way, you can see that there's a bit of a scuff mark here, a fresh set of tracks leading down ahead of you. Someone else who passed through the ghouls, though they did not do so unhindered. There is blood stains on the ground in front of you.
I'll touch it and see if it's still fresh or if it's started to coagulate or.
Sure, give me a survival check on that one. That's a pretty good survival check. It is not fresh, at least not within the last few hours, but it's not so crackly that you would say it's. I don't know enough about blood, but I'll say not so bad that you would say it's more than a day.
Okay. Somebody or something was wounded within the last 24 hours. I let everybody know and continue. I'll go ahead and take flight at this point.
I don't remember. Did somebody get away from us?
I think everyone we've dealt with so far has been dealt with, other than the wererats.
Yeah, and I think the only person that we dealt with around this area that got away from us was the guy that owned the bears, or I think it's the guy that
Yes,
owned the
the
bears.
most evil.
The
Oh,
most
I hope
evil
he's
guy.
okay. He seemed nice.
Yeah, but they went down the pit. They didn't come down this way. So, but I will do my steps of what is it? Steps of something. It's called.
Night.
Steps of the night.
It's Eyes of the Night and Steps. Yeah, Steps of Night as well. Okay.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everything's of night, I guess, for me. And I will fly to be a little more quiet.
Wait, I thought you were Twilight Domain. Where's your late
That's
afternoon?
that's right.
Come on, man.
Steps of the
late
evening.
Steps
I'll
of the
say steps of the
evening.
evening.
As you make your way, the hallway starts to level out, and ahead of you, a natural cavern with natural for this area, that has a low ceiling, perhaps 25 to 30 feet in diameter. Opens up. It continues on to the north. By that point, the ground is mostly level.
Okay. I let everybody know that the coast looks clear here, so and I will fly at about 10 feet up or whatever here.
Sure.
And
Tahir, you seem like, what are you doing back here? I thought you were growing in the front. Do you want me to carry you? You scared?
No, it's just a lot's on my mind right now. So many things a Arcanist can think about,
Do you want to talk about it?
Perhaps when we're not in super danger.
Okay.
I
Do you
don't
want
think
to
anything's attacking us right now.
do you want to ride on my back like at like one of those like petting zoos? Would that make you feel better?
I appreciate the offer, but I still think we should still keep our wits about us just a little bit. Perhaps later.
Dahrian, as you
Okay.
enter into that kind of round, low-ceiling chamber, you can see in the southwest corner, it looks like someone had holed up there for a little bit. You can see the discarded vials of maybe healing potions. You can see where a little bit of blood had settled in there, and a few scraps of cloth where things have maybe been torn to make bandages, that sort of thing. And from that point beyond, you don't see any signs of obvious blood trail. Off to the north, you can see that a little bit beyond the northern exit from this cavern is a proper wall, straight lines, stacked stone, that sort of thing. A little cubby that sort of acts as an entryway or a little landing place, and then a doorway. The hall or the wall leads to the east, and a passageway continues off in that direction as well. So, little doorway right here. passageway continuing off, and then area where somebody drank a bunch of healing potions right down there.
Okay. I will move up to here to get a little bit of a better look. Kind of point out the makeshift campsite or heal site or whatever down in this area, and I'll keep my eyes and ears here north while other people can check around in that room, see if there's anything that
Sure. To the north,
will give us more information.
you can see just a little hint of a glow coming off maybe an oil lamp set to a very, very low wick, or maybe a candle, something of that is lighting up that area up there.
This area right here?
Yeah, correct. So coming out from this area, just the tiniest bit of a glow.
Gotcha. I turn and whisper to these guys. It looks like there's a little bit of light up ahead. I'll check it out. And I continue to fly and peek around the corner, see if I see anything.
Sure, you peek around the corner, and what you see is the remains of a fight or battle of some sort. Boom, boom, boom,
No,
boom, boom, boom.
no
I'm
bodies.
getting there.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
You beat me to it. The rough-hewn passage gives way to a chamber, perhaps 20 feet by 25 feet. Set up in the chamber is what appears to be a makeshift camp or household, complete with a few bedrolls, a brazier with just the tiniest glow of an ember left to it, a lantern, and several equipment packs. Laying on the floor are 3 bodies. You recognize Jor as well as Kronok, and an elven figure that I don't believe you would recognize. The 3 seem to have died fighting one another. It looks as though perhaps the elf had prevailed, but then fell to bleeding or some lasting injury afterwards. Not able to make it out of the room.
All right, I come back here and let everybody know. I say there's 3 bodies on the floor up there. They weren't moving. They didn't seem undead, but it looks like that Jor and Kronk and some other elf I did not recognize.
You don't mean he's gone?
It looks as though that a fight ensued between the 2 and this elf, and it looks like that the elf slew them and then fell to his own injuries.
But why? He was only so evil.
Yeah. Well, perhaps there was somebody else who was a little more evil.
I wonder why they were fighting each other.
Perhaps the elf was good.
They're definitely dead. They're not like undead, but like dead.
They didn't appear to be undead. There's no way for me. I mean, I didn't check all that closely, but I mean, it's possible that they are in the, and if they're not, we know how things work around here. They probably will be at some point. So it might be a good idea to loot and burn their bodies, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do it alone.
While they're talking, Blitz might quietly kind of investigate the camp and the whatever tracks to try to piece together, because something seems wrong about all this. I don't know. Like somebody was injured already,
Sure.
right? And then they came up the way and they healed themselves and then went up here and fought to the death in a room. I don't know. Feel like we're missing a piece.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable thing. Let's lead off with an investigation there. And then also, thanks out there for the cheers. Appreciate seeing that run by. And Alex, bad luck on the all-in gamble there. So rough.
And guidance to Blitz if you want it, even though I spelled
Oh,
it
thank
wrong.
you.
It's still a guidance.
Got it.
Right.
Blitz. So what you kind
Ooh.
of see there, just sort of following the events as laid out. Looking at the wounds, the elf has claw marks, bite marks on him, so likely he was the one that came through the ghouls and gassed and survived, protected perhaps in part by his elven blood. Drank up a bunch of healing potions and then came in here for a fight. That certainly does not seem like a grand idea. From the way the battle ensued, the elf must have just come through the door swinging, knocked a bunch of stuff around. Kronok and Jor fought back. There are some oddities about, but looks like it was, just a knockdown, drag out kind of brawl, and resulted in them, Kronok and Jor dying from sword wounds. The elf looked like he was pretty roughed up already between bites and claws, and several wounds from the other two, but something else finished him off. I think maybe a medicine check would be necessary to get that sort of thing done.
Oh,
Eh, not sure. There's so much going on in this area. Could have been curses, could have been magic, could have been just about anything.
I wonder if, like, no, I was gonna say I wonder if the elf contracted a ghoul disease, and that's why even that like he went like kind of scrambling in, and that's why it doesn't make sense. But would he still be? Well, I guess he could be killed too. I don't know.
he does appear pale, even for an elf.
Hey, sometimes pale isn't that bad. Mind you. It's actually a rather healthy complexion. But there's just something we're missing. So his bears don't look like they've charged through here. There's no evidence of bears, because
No
they probably
evidence
would
of
have
bears.
just eaten
Wait,
them.
where are the bears? Are they okay? They're not dead, are they?
I don't know.
Andre will go rushing down the hallway.
Where
Andry
are you
goes
going?
rushing down the hallway towards the bears, and I need a little reminder, because it's been a little while. I know you got them with the bear trap, and that was what pissed them off, but you made friends with them prior to that. Did you ever make it up to them after the bear trap?
He ran away, I think.
I think you ran away. I think the last thing they remember was, careful playing with this one, he bites. So,
Okay, he got teleported back up to the
okay.
top
Oh,
of
that's
the
right.
bed, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Andry, you come charging in towards the bears. All three bears just sort of like, woof, look over at you because you're coming from the food serving direction. And then they just sort of like head tilt, head tilt, head tilt. And can I get a quick animal handling as you are rushing towards the bears? And maybe there's like a need to communicate, I am not attacking right now. Or maybe you are. Ah,
I don't think that helps you.
it really doesn't. You are
Hey.
approaching with friendly intent, correct?
I am.
You
And
are.
if I have any more of the scorpion meat, I will toss that at them.
All right. So here's what we're gonna say.
What's 4?
We're gonna roll a bear wisdom. If the bear wisdom is under a 13, it will they will attack thinking you're attacking. If it is an over a 13, then they will wait. If it is exactly a 13, I will figure out something else.
Blitz, you were saying something?
Oh, never mind. It's you can see. I can't see him right now.
It is a 4. They misunderstand your intent, and we will be engaging in bear combat in just a moment.
No, we can't kill the bears.
But as it is midnight, we will save bear combat for next week. So leading into next week, Andry has gone tearing out of the room. The rest are trying to figure out what happened to Jor, Kronok, and this elf there. And Alex beat me to the unbearable pun, but that's okay. We will figure out some other bear-related puns in there. But thanks everybody for hanging out. We've been 20 sides to every story, working our way through the upcoming original Adventures Reincarnated release of The Dark Tower by Goodman Games. We will be back next week to see what happens with our bears, what happens to poor Jor the Evil, and pick up from there. Any shout-outs from the players for anything going on?
Nope.
Okie dokie. Feel free to swing by the Discord hangout. That's where we pick up folks to play games like this one and our community campaign. Also be sure to check out the Goodman Games upcoming Dungeon Delve DCC version that Alex will be putting out. Yeah, come on and join us. We're not all that evil. At least not as evil as Jor is. Thanks, everybody. We'll go ahead and close it off. Have a great night out there.
Or night.
Thank you. Good night.